TSF Entertainment.
And welcome back to the TSF Entertainment channel. Special CG in the building this good Sunday evening. Happy New Year to everybody. Joined tonight by my brother, Jack of Jordans. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year. And Fresh Your Highness is going to be joining us a little bit later. So y'all know what we're here for. We're here to talk about Power Book for Force. It's season 3, the final season. Episode 309, War Requiem. All right, Jack. So we've been talking. What did you think about the episode?
Just to shine some light onto what we've been talking about, I think it was a really good episode, with the exception of the series is coming to a close. So with the series coming to the close, we needed to see a little bit less of a few things and a little bit more of a lot of things. But if we're keeping the same thing that we always keep on TSF Entertainment, and that's the scale from 1 to 10, I give it an 8.
Okay, it would have been a 10 for me if it was a normal season 9 episode, and it would have been a 10 for me if there wasn't a couple of things that we kind of talked about already, but we'll talk about it here. So it was a 9 for me. It was definitely a 9 for me. DeMarcus says it was a solid 10. DeMarcus, thank you for that $10 super sticker.
Appreciate it,
bro. All right. Let's see who else we have here. Hey, lovely Blueprint. It's so nice to see you. Planet Paperboy. Long time no see, bro. What's up, bro? Happy New Year to you.
Paperboy.
All right. Dexter, what's good? Hope you had a good week. Yes, this episode was very reminiscent to OG Power. I will agree with that. There were some things here in the episode that really, really made me smile and really, really made me think back to the older days, the 2014 days of Power. Like when we were on edge every episode, we were on edge, like waiting to see what was going to happen, staying up to midnight every week to watch it. And up to about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, talking back and forth. That's what prompted us to start the podcast. Because remember, we did the podcast for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And we got on YouTube, but that's what prompted us. The excitement and the lure of the show itself is what kept us grounded. And they're really finishing up this season really, really strong. I don't think that it started out as strong. It was good. It started out good. But I don't think that they started out as strong as they're ending up. So you can tell they definitely got some better writing going on over here. Even though we got some things that just don't make a little sense to us.
We're going to discuss it. We're going to chop it up.
We're going to chop it up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into this thing. All right. All right, so let's talk about the episode synopsis. So the episode title was War Requiem, Revenge, New Alliances, and Dangerous Secrets Collide, leaving everyone to fight dirty in a game with deadly consequences. So I thought the episode title was very fitting. I don't really usually dive too deep into the episode titles unless they are symbolic. And this one had a symbolic relationship to the episode itself. War means conflict, violence, loss. Requiem means remembrance, mourning, reflection of the unalive. So I thought that was a very good tie to tie those two things together, because obviously we're mourning JP, RIP to JP. All right, so that's where we got the War Requiem from. Episode starts off with Tommy at a funeral home. So I heard a lot of people saying that he was at their house, that he was at JP's house, that he was at a church. No, he was at a funeral home. You see the hearse in the shot. He is at a funeral home. They have taken the bodies to the funeral home. So obviously they did not notify law enforcement. They collected the bodies out of Miriam's house, took them to a funeral home. And he is now paying off the guy at the funeral home to take care of JP. Make sure you pick out a nice casket for him. He gives him a wad of money. And he also tells him, the funeral guy asked him, well, what about the other two? He was like, burn them, flush them. So in other words, get rid of them. Don't ask no questions. Here goes some
Yeah.
money. He then turns to D-Mac and asks D-Mac, did he want to say something? Did he want to say goodbye to his father? This is where I felt like they robbed us a little bit. They robbed us a little bit because we saw Tommy's reaction somewhat because Tommy was on the phone when it happened. We did not get to see D-Mac's reaction. I would have liked to have saw his initial reaction versus what we'll talk about when we get to that scene, but I would have liked to see D-Mac's initial reaction. So let me pause right there and let you catch up.
I'm with you, man. I would like to see his initial reaction too. Again, he kind of just went straight YN and kind of just blocked the emotions out. It didn't have anything to say. But I'm 100% with you on that. We did get robbed of a moment.
Yeah, we got robbed of a moment. Hey, Alex, Happy New Year to you as well. Let's see. We're gonna talk about that Planet Paperboy. We just got finished talking about that. We're gonna talk about all that.
Just got finished talking about that. That's the crazy part.
Okay, so David makes a good point. David says it's anger, and he's right. Both of us have went through that emotion ourselves, having lost parents. Now, granted, we didn't lose our parents to murder, but that initial response was anger. And that's understandable. Still, I would have liked to have seen his initial reaction, whether it would have been anger, whether it would have been emotion, hurt, whatever. I would like to have seen that. But we know that we have to move the story along, so we had to cut back on that to get to where we're at in the story. This they could have kept. They could have gave me his initial reaction and kept this. Cause Diamond over here crushing this lady. Crushing this lady. I was like, bro, do not lay down on top of this lady, yo. You gonna kill her.
She's about $105.
Yeah, or less.
Yeah.
So we see Diamond in the basement, and I'm like, of all places for you to be back at the basement, like y'all ain't at war right now. At
Dusty,
this point, to his defense,
nasty, funky basement.
To his defense, he does not know what has happened. So it's not until Jannard comes in and tells him what has happened with JP and King Kilo and JoJo. So he thinks that everything is normal. Even in the normal situation, I'm like, damn, you couldn't take the lady to a hotel room? He in here smashing Madame Wu, and I'm like, why did we? All because he made a comment to Jannard in an episode about her being fine. They gave us this scene. That was the only reason why they gave us this scene. I'm like, why did we need this?
We didn't need it.
We didn't need it. We didn't need it. So she tells him, like, Diamond tells her that he enjoyed himself, or whatever. And she was like, don't get used to this. Like, this is a privilege, and you doing this with me, I ain't gonna be one of them random chicks that you call up anytime you think that you're gonna get some. I'm like, well, what did you come for then?
That's why I'm saying it was pointless. And that's why I felt like we discussed, they're trying to open up something for no reason. Like, this shouldn't even be introduced, in my opinion.
What's up, Lock Queen? Nice to see you as well. Yeah, I just thought it was just one of those things that we could have did without. We get it. Okay, it was just useless. It was useless to the story. We could have spent this time on something else. We could have spent this time on something a little bit more value added. Jannard comes in. He's like, "Oh shit, okay," and whatever. And I expected her to have said something to Jannard. Now, we talked about this briefly off camera. This scene would have made more sense if Tommy had been using Madame Wu to try to get to Jannard and Diamond. If we would have saw her attempt to try to take out Diamond or attempt to try to take out Jannard, and they had to situate her there in the basement, that would have made more sense.
Yep.
To have this in the scene. It did not make any sense.
Because right now,
moving forward, closing the story out. Jannard comes in with his lying ass. As it's to the point right now where every scene that he's in, you can just best believe that he's going to tell his version of any story, and it's not going to be any part of the truth.
I hate when he started explaining stuff. He was like, "Bro, man, let me tell you, it just had to go down." Like, he moves, his mannerisms just say fiend, junkie.
Hey, that's a good question, Dexter. What happened when Madame Wu finds out about his death? I think that obviously there was a mutual attraction between her and Diamond as well, and that might have been part of her motivation of wanting to literally get into bed with CVI. I think that once she finds out that Diamond is no longer here, she's probably not going to want to do business with Jannard.
Probably not.
Now, what they could have done was another use for this scene was they could have revealed, Jannard could have revealed that it was D-Mac that robbed her casino and took her brick. That if that coming out could have gave this scene purpose as well. Just again, no purpose. Lady Virtue says it was an 8.5 for me. They definitely couldn't have kept that scene with Diamond and Madame Wu. I would have rather had D-Mac reaction to JP's death. Okay, so we're here. We're here. So Diamond is getting dressed and JP comes in and he starts telling Diamond the events of the previous night where he had went over to King Kilo's to try to go ahead and spin the story like Diamond had sent him to do about D-Mac being responsible for King Kilo's nephew. I don't even care at this point. Why is this even still a topic of discussion in the episode? But Jannard then starts to tell all these lies about how he had to take out JP and King Kilo and JoJo. And Diamond is like, are you out of your mind? Like, do you realize that you have just started another war? He's like, I had no choice. Which technically, I'm not gonna say he didn't have a choice. He unalived JP out of ego, his pride. Yeah. I feel like if JP hadn't have made that comment to him about, oh, you just mad because I beat your ass, that maybe they would not have taken him out. Maybe they would have pistol whipped him. Maybe they would have kidnapped him. Maybe they would have tortured him a little bit. But it doesn't seem like they had intentions on unaliving him. It felt like to me that they were going to just wait there until D-Mac
showed up. They were going to use him for bait until D-Mac showed up. But instead, the junkie part came out of him, and his ego was hurt, and he got JP situated.
They also use this opportunity to try to take advantage of the fact that the RDs are going to want some blood because of King Kilo and JoJo, that they will pin that on Tommy and them, of course, and that they would use the RDs as if they were going to be successful at taking out Tommy. They can't take him out. Why do y'all think a low-level street crew that's a part of the coalition is going to be able to do it?
Now, and they put that in place because they already had made a deal, of course, with Ortega, saying that Tommy was a no-go. There was no green light on Tommy unless it was done by Ortega. So it logically, I see why he said that, whatever. But of course, the RDs they no good either.
This is also where he comes up with the plan that they're going to ditch the Estrada cartel, which is Shay's cartel, whatever. And then that they were going to go solicit aid from the Ortega, the Marquez cartel. I'm thinking to myself, that's just a plan that ain't gonna go right either. Ortega on his own hasn't been able to take out Tommy or any of Tommy's loved ones. Y'all rallying with them like y'all gonna get some extra muscle, some extra protection, or whatever the case may be. Diamond seems a little bit reluctant about it, but ends up going with the get down or whatever the case may be. And I was like, this is a bad idea right here, formulating right here in this basement.
Right.
Hey, pretty girl loves trap. What's good with you? C Fluid says all Diamond does is drink, whooping up on people and doing the nasty.
Pretty much.
Agreed. They put too much on this Grayskull character too. He get on my nerves too.
He put the words out right.
I wanted him to be one of the ones to had caught one of the bullets when they rolled up on them. I was like, damn, I hope he won he aggravated.
Punch him in the face because he was just like, you got to remember who you talking to. You know what I'm saying? I thought
he wasn't really seeing it for Jannard anyway, because wasn't the little dude that Tommy took out, Chavo, wasn't he part of their little crew, the RDs? I think he was part of their little crew or whatever. So Great Skull has always had smoking heat for Jannard to begin with. So he always do be talking crazy to Jannard or whatever. They got into the little fight or whatever when they was over there in treason or whatever. So Great Skull is trying to make sense of all this, and he's like, "Yo, this shit ain't adding up. Like this stuff don't make no sense. Like, what y'all gonna do about the situation?" And again, we still got a hard on for D-Mac. I want D-Mac. And I'm like, okay, y'all don't know where he at in the streets? Yo, YN. Y'all don't know where he at in the streets? Y'all don't know where to find him at. Like the first place that if y'all truly wanted D-Mac, if y'all truly wanted him, the first place y'all should have rolled up to was Marshall's place.
Seems like everybody know Marshall live there too.
Jannard for sure does.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't seen anyone actively trying to find him, tailing him, watching them, or whatever the case may be. This right here, they put too much emphasis on this, but they all really ain't out here looking for him. Jannard comes up with his story, his version of the story that he's going to tell the RDs, and get them all amped up about taking out D-Mac and taking out Tommy. Mm-hmm. And then he guarantees that D-Mac will be taken out by the end of the day as good faith. And of course, he's also asking for their help as well to take out Tommy. And I was like, the three of them against Tommy? Yeah, that ain't going.
Easy money for Tommy.
Right. One hand behind his back, eyes closed, easy work. Right. This ain't finna happen.
Easy work.
Marshall showed up out of nowhere. I'm assuming that Jannard called him over there or whatever. He's standing there with the mean mug or whatever the case may be. And they looked at him and he was like, well, where he at? Marshall's like, I don't know where he at. Like, I kicked him out of my crib. I'm glad he said that, because that, to me, pointed them in a different direction to go look for him. Mm-hmm. It's going back to what I was saying. They never looked for him at Marshall's place anyway, but yet y'all sitting here asking Marshall where he's at. Well, if y'all wanted to know where he was at all along, he was living there. You could have went there and got him anytime you wanted, right? So Marshall says he doesn't know where he at, that he had kicked him out of the crib or whatever the case may be. And then, Great Skull try to puff up at him, and Jannard come in talking about, I got this. We're gonna take care of it. I'm gonna handle it myself. I got this. I'm gonna personally handle this. I got this. I'm like, Jannard, shut up. You lying. You ain't got nothing. So after Great Skull and them leave or whatever, then Jannard, Mr. I got this. I'm gonna handle this myself, goes to Marshall and say, you gotta take your boy out, right?
You're right. He
said, oh my God. You gonna have to put your boy to bed, right? And Marshall like, huh? What? Why me? He's like, come on, man. You know why. He got to go. And so, Marshall, right there, I don't even know why Jannard thought that Marshall was going to leave there and actually take on that assignment. You see the hesitation there with him. And then when he smacked him across his face, like, good job, get this done, or whatever the case may be, you saw I'm not going to say guilt, I'm not going to say grief, but you saw the conflict all over his face that, okay, that Marshall wasn't going to slide with this.
Here's the crazy thing. This is what I peeped while watching this scene. I'm going to tell you what I saw. If you with the camera span to Diamond when he was like, yo, that's my brother, the mindset of Diamond when it spanned over to him, and the look that Diamond gave was like, yo, how you just go, like, to me, I got like, how you gonna ask this man to take out his brother? I see what type of person that you are, so everything that Showstopper said is valid. You still on that type of time, because if you're willing to just tell Marshall to take out somebody who he just said was his brother, and even though we had our moment during that one time or whatever, and now we back to this position, that just tells me what type of person that you are.
Very good point, Dexter. All of Jannard's plans have the same thing of someone else doing the unaliving instead of him. That is a very good point. Let me see what DeMarcus talking about. D-Mac and Marshall basically switched roles from the Shy. D-Mac, a.k.a. Jason, and Marshall, a.k.a. Bakari. Bakari finally got his karma in force. Yeah, I guess so. All right. In comes Showstopper. So if y'all have been watching our reviews and y'all are friends of the channel, y'all know that we were not big fans of Shanti Showstopper page. However, as I'm going to say to you all, as I said to Jack and the rest of the fellas, Showstopper is starting to grow on me. Doesn't mean that I trust her. She started growing me. I really like the development they have done with this character. In comes Showstopper. They're over at Little Village, which is Miguel's place, and we see Tommy loading up that Desert Eagle. Okay, so there was a lot of conversation in our group chat and different forums I've been in this week, where they were talking about they thought that Tommy had gave the weapons away to Asher in a previous episode. I think he only gave him one of the Desert Eagles, and he kept one. Yeah.
Yep.
Showstopper comes in and she says, well, Tommy asks her, "You don't know where Jannar hiding at?" And I'm thinking to myself, he ain't hiding. He at the barbershop. Have you had somebody over there watching the place? He's right there in plain sight. He's right up the street, right the corner. Right. He's at the same place he's always been. They ain't got that many sets. So where else you think he at? He at the barbershop. She was like, "No, I don't know where he at." And then Tommy asked her again, "Are you hiding out? Or are you protecting him or whatever?" And she's like, "Look, this ain't about no, this is about business." And in comes Miguel, and Miguel says that I also like what they have done with Miguel's character too. They have taken characters that we did not like and that we were not rooting for, and now we're rooting for them. So very good job. Very good job, writers. Very similar is a kinship to what they've done with Tariq's overall development for his character, even though we still don't like him. But for the most part, most of the fans now are fans of Tariq, as opposed to originally we couldn't stand him. In comes Miguel. Miguel says he's got a location on Ortega. So I'm like, I ain't thinking about Ortega right now. Right now, I'm on Jannar. And Miguel makes a very poignant comment here that is a very good point that he's making. And that is, listen, we got to focus on the living. And our priority should be protecting Maria, the unborn baby, our family. He does make a good point. And plus, it's also going against the orders that they have gotten from Che. Che has told them to stand down on the Marquez cartel because they do not have enough soldiers to go to war with them. But Miguel has always bucked that because ever since they came after him and his sister, Miguel not finna let them slide with that. So he's going to go after Ortega on his own if he has to. Thomas says, "Okay, bet that. How about this? You go after Ortega, I'll go after Jannar." Showstopper reminds both of them that we got 6 hours to re-up with Che and pay him his money. Tommy says 6 hours is more than enough time for me to take care of Jannar. We'll meet back here at 1 o'clock. We'll give Che the re-up and everything will be all good because we'll be on taking Jannar out. All right, so they separate and go their separate ways or whatever the case may be. Back at law enforcement headquarters, you have Fresh. I wish he was here. What's the lady name? Del Flunky, Agent El Deflanco. Delgado. Thank you, DeMarcus. Agent Delgado, Agent Flunky, is telling Bobby that Ortega's case had just got dismissed. However, the judge has given them the ability to refile, and that they are scrambling to try to review the evidence, go back over the evidence again to see if there was something that they could have possibly missed, something else that they could possibly use to refile charges against Ortega. At the same time, she's also very concerned about how the optics is going to look in regards to them focusing all their attention towards Tommy and not truly investigating whether or not the cartel is responsible for Stacey Marks unaliving. Although we know that they are not responsible for Stacey Marks unaliving, that it is Tommy. So Bobby is correct. However, she's telling him, be smart about this. If you really want to go after Tommy, then eliminate any other potential suspects so the defense doesn't have reasonable doubt. In other words, she's trying to tell them, eliminate the ability for them to say someone else was able to do this crime. And this the part right here that becomes nonsensical to me. When they start talking about what what's the man name? The little Oriental man, the one that unalive Merkovich. Quan, is it?
Is it? This is
Chan
this-
is his
Okay.
name. Chan is his name. Okay, this is where we find out that Chan is not even a lawyer. They went back and they looked at the surveillance footage of him in with Merkovich, where he gave him the little pouch with the fentanyl in it. And they realized, she said she ran his name. He's not a part of the Illinois Bar Association or any state bar association whatsoever. So he is not a lawyer. And I'm thinking to myself, who's been filing the motions for Ortega?
Right.
Who's been filing the motions for Ortega? Who's been showing up for the arraignment hearings? Who's been going to
moonlight as a lawyer? How was he
How
able?
y'all just now finding out that this man not a lawyer?
What type of system y'all had? This guy just able to moonlight as a lawyer? That's crazy.
Through the whole case. So
Well, I
she
guess
says
Kane,
that she
can get into the interrogation office. I guess.
Yeah, but Kane didn't advocate as Effie's attorney the entire time. He just got in there to see her for 5 minutes. This man been masquerading as an attorney
Man,
the whole time. Who been following all the motions? That's what I want to know. Who was there to represent Ortega in court when his case got dismissed? That's what I want to know. Who threw the case out? That's crazy. So she says they ran his face through facial recognition, and they spotted him going into the Tortoise Club. And Bob is like, so what? And then he asked about where Singh was. And she said, well, Singh's in there questioning then. And he was like, without me, where? And so we then flash to Singh in here that is doing a very poor job at trying to intimidate Vic into
he showed
I
his
guess
hand.
well, he did show his hand, but at the same time, I guess he's trying to coerce Vic into giving a statement saying that Tommy was the one that was responsible for unaliving Stacey Marks, and that she was working, which is the truth. It is the truth. He was working. She was working with Tommy. She was strong arming and doing so. So Singh is on the right path, but he's there for the wrong reasons. He's not there to solve the case for Stacey's unaliving. He's there to try to make sure that none of this backs up on Ortega. And so Vic's sitting here not bothered at all, and he pretty much tells them like, listen, I'm tired of y'all. Like y'all keep coming down here, y'all doing this and y'all doing that, and y'all saying this and y'all saying that. Stacey is gone. And Singh is like, listen, just because Stacey's gone, that don't mean you in the clear, buddy. And he's like, you still on paper, and we still got you for an unaliving charge. And he's like, you better check your statement from your witness, because your witness has recanted her statement. So she's not going to identify me as being the person that unalived that dude, Fat Tony or whatever the hell his name was. And Singh get a little mad and throw his little papers off the table. I'm like, what?
Calm down.
This is where calm down. And this is where Vic peeps game. Vic is smart, because he's like, I felt like Vic should have dug into that a little bit more. He's like, you on paper for somebody too, like you working for somebody. And I'm like, dummy, you should do the process of elimination. You know that he's not working for Tommy. Obviously, he's working for the Ortega organization, the Marquez cartel. Who else is there for him to be working for? Vic, you was onto that. You could have used that as leverage, more leverage. Vic said, I'll tell you what, I'm finna write this statement up for you. I'm gonna sign this paper, and then I'm out. I'm done with you all. I don't work for y'all no more. Don't bother me no more. And he was like, take it or leave it. I felt like he should have pushed back just a little bit more, or dug a little bit more into Singh's connection with the Ortega organization.
Because like you said, he had the leverage. He had
the leverage.
He could have got way more than what he. I just want to do this, whatever. He could have told him, nah, I ain't doing nothing, because I already know who you are.
Yep. And I know what you about.
Yeah.
So Vic get a pen and paper, and he started writing up his statement. And then we move over to Tommy, who, again, out here in the streets with no security, no bodyguards, no nothing, just dressed in all black, and got his gas out. And he rolls up on Big Smurf, and I forgot old boy name. I don't even know if they said his name. But another member of CBI, and he's looking for Jannard. and he's also, giving them an opportunity to switch sides. And he threw a bag of money down, which I didn't really understand what he threw the bag of money down for. I guess that was incentive for them to come and work for him.
Mm-hmm.
And so Smurf is like, listen, I ain't no pancake. And I know that if I switch sides, you're not going to truly trust me in the end. I'm not going to be loyal, whatever the case may be. And Tommy asks him again, you don't know where Gennard at? And then the other dude says, okay, well, I'll switch sides, man. And he goes to reach for the bag of money, and Tommy puts him down. And I was like, well, what did Tommy put him down for? I guess to intimidate Smirk, or to let Smirk know that, yeah, you're right. If you would have agreed to flip sides with me, I would have put you down too. I didn't really understand the symbolism behind putting the other guy down, other than just taking out a CBI. So
I think he respected Big Smurf stand on it. He was kind of like, well, I ain't that. Even if I take the money, you can go ahead and situate me anyway. So I think he appreciated his stand on it. He may still circle the block and get Big Smurf out of here, But I appreciate it. Was just, I appreciate your stand on it. Today ain't your day, but this one right here, they're reaching out for the money. Situated
on site. Okay, good point, Alex. Yeah, for them to come over to his side, but also to test their loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which I'm very surprised with Smurf's reaction. I'm really surprised with Smurf's reaction because in the previous episode, when they went to go do the fentanyl deal, he was against it because they did not consult with Tommy. So I thought that he had stronger alliances towards Tommy, but I guess after Diamond put that whooping on his ass, he thought long and hard about him. Like, man, fuck Tommy.
Yeah, I think that's what all that.
I'm gonna let you have this one, because you probably feel the same way I feel about this scene. So I'm gonna let you have this one.
Here we see Gennard and Diamond. They both pull up to Ortega's house after he got released from jail. He got released, something that we never saw, but it happened. And they going to kind of negotiate switching from the Estrada to the Marquez cartel. Now, my question is, in our arguments, or not even our arguments, our conversation is that one, if we know as an audience that they're at war with CBI, how was they able to just pull up at Ortega's house? How do they even know where Ortega live without there being any type of problems? Like, they just ring the doorbell and his guards just answer the door and say, hey, yeah, we just hit.
We're here to see Ortega.
Yeah, we drove past and it looked like Ortega's house. So we just figured that we'd come by and we'd speak. We just wanted to say hello. Right. How was that even possible? So it's a big conflict with me, because if you already in beef with CBI, then the two head honchos of CBI comes to your home and your security is not on high alert and shooting on sight. Did they make a phone call to him? Did they text message him? Did they send him an email? How did he even get to Ortega's house?
Everybody in the Power universe always knows where everyone lives. Ortega, like, y'all got some real big ones showing up here, and then they go with this little banter back and forth about Tommy and Tommy being responsible for his uncle's unaliving, and him CBI being responsible for him being in a lockup and all that. And Diamond is like beg his pardon, like, listen, I'm not with Tommy anymore, we're not partners anymore, and we were coming to flip and switch sides to work with you. We need I don't even know what they really went there for, other than to let Ortega know that Tommy is a problem. They're going to take care of it today. And of course, Ortega's like, is this your brother right here? And he was like, yep. He was like, I tell you what, since Tommy took away my uncle, I'm going to take away your brother for brother. So that seemed to be a common theme through this episode, where someone wanted to exchange Gennard. And that is very important. That's a very important point to point out, that everybody wants to take Gennard out. Everyone always looks at Gennard as the collateral damage, which he is the one that's responsible for a lot of these things that are occurring. And we saw that Ortega wanted to eliminate him as well. And of course, Diamond prevented it from happening by telling Ortega that, listen, you'll be doing Tommy a favor if you got rid of my brother right now, because Tommy just took out my brother, Jannard just took out Tommy's brother, and he's gunning for us right now. So Ortega lets them know that I'll tell you what, y'all can come work for me or whatever the case may be, but Tommy is my kill. I'm going to take care of Tommy myself. And how many times have we heard him say this? This is where I got aggravated, because we've heard Ortega say this 25 times already to everybody. Don't touch Tommy. Tommy is mine. But yet we've never seen him.
Never been touched either.
Yeah, he's never even tried to get the work done. He tried one time with that one hitter that
it was horrible.
Well, Tommy didn't even show up for the hit. Yeah. Tommy didn't even show up for the hit. So we've never seen him make any other attempts to try to take Tommy out. We've never seen him. Is going back to what we were talking about off camera. They immediately escalate to Miguel. They immediately escalate to Maria, but they forget about Tommy as their biggest threat. And I'm like, Ortega, you keep making this promise that you're going to take out Tommy, but we've not seen you make movements towards doing so. So I was like, yeah, you're not going to do anything. Why him, Ortega, and Che is still alive in this episode, I have no idea. Both of them should have left out of here in this episode. Oh, again, we have Tommy walking down the street, unbothered, completely by himself, with no security and no weapon in hand. And he is on the phone having a conversation with Miguel. Miguel has just called and informed him. Now, you see, Miguel is doing the surveillance, obviously, because Miguel calls up Tommy and tells Tommy here that he just found out that Diamond and Jannard just met with Ortega and they're switching sides. And they also have a location on them. And so before Tommy could really respond, we see the RDs roll up on him. And then they had him dead to rights. I don't even know why they didn't get out the van busting. I don't even understand why they get out and they pointing their straps.
Bad hitters.
Yeah, bad hitters. Y'all should have got out busted. Y'all
should have been a conversation. Should have been on site.
It wasn't even a conversation. They just got out and they pointing and shooting, like pointing, like put your hands up. Like what did you expect? Gave him opportunity. When we see another van pull up with, and they did exactly what I said. They pull up shooting.
No questions asked.
With no questions asked. They took out the whole minivan.
Yep.
And so at that time, we didn't know what it was all about. Even in the preview for last week, we didn't know who this was that was snatching up Tommy. And we see Tommy get a mask thrown over his face. He's get thrown in the back of the van. And he's back at Little Village. He's back at Miguel's place, which they made a point to show this room in the scene where he was talking to Showstopper at the beginning of the episode where he was trying to find out where Jannard was. They showed this room with a chair in it. So this side knew that he was back at Miguel's place. He's yelling out because he realizes that he's at Miguel's place as well.
They did good with that.
Yeah, they did real good with that. And he's yelling out thinking that Miguel had double-crossed him or set him up or whatever the case may be, only to find out that Miguel said, shit, I'm here with you. When I told you I got your back, I got your back. And that was a play on the fact that they were back-to-back and they were tied up in Miguel's torture room. In comes Che, and Che reprimands them for not following his orders. And I'm trying to figure out, where did they disobey his orders at? They didn't make an attempt on Ortega, so what is he upset about? Or is this something that Miguel did off camera that we didn't see?
That's a great question. Where did he disobey the orders?
Yeah, where did they disobey the orders at? There you go, Dexter. The plot armor is strong, because that's exactly what this is. This is plot armor. Because if they would have shown Miguel making an attempt at Ortega, I could understand why Che, but I don't understand what Che is saying about they disobeyed his orders. When and where? So he's pissed off.
Yeah, I have no idea.
He's pissed off to the point that they're not following his orders or whatever. And he was getting ready to either situate them or at the very least mess them up real bad there in that room or whatever the case may be. And of course, Tommy go to fast talking real quick and talk themselves out of the situation by informing Che that, hey, CBI has flipped sides on you. Not only have they started working with the Marquez cartel, but they are also working with Madame Wu and moving that fentanyl. Like, if you take us out, you finna lose all of Chicago overnight. And so Che realizes that, okay, they are a problem, and he gives them the green light to go ahead and take them out. And he also tells them that if they don't take them out, then he begins to threaten Maria again. And I'm like, that's a bad move.
Horrible.
Because he threatened to put a knife in her heart, and for them to both be witness of Maria and the baby be unalive before them. And I was like, yeah, they're both going to take you out now, Che. You're done for, because you just threatened her, and you know how amped up they are. And I felt like Miguel was unsure of what was getting ready to happen, but Tommy wasn't ready to lay down yet. And so Che reminds him that you got a small window of time left for you to re-up, and you better have your money, or
right.
Tommy like, I got this money. And he was like, well, until you bring the money back, Miguel stays here. And they keep Miguel behind. Oh, that's right. He did bring up the hospital thing where Maria took out the hitter, but what choice did she have? I mean, he approached her and attacked her. It's not like they went after the hitter on their own. They only cleaned up the mess that Maria made after the hitter was unsuccessful at taking her out. So it wasn't something that they planned on their own to do. So I don't understand why they got blamed for that. It'll be crazy if one to take out Tommy after all this is said and done. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to get rid of Che. But I feel like in next week's episode, which I feel like this should have happened in this episode. We don't need this to happen next week. We should have, whenever it comes back on, we needed this to happen in this week's episode. We needed to be done with both of these so we can close out this story and move on.
Oh, yeah. Hitting the hitter. Yeah.
Again, they are still at this barbershop.
In the basement. Looking for D-Mac.
Gray Skull and his 3 goons. 3. And I'm like, how many RDs is it? Because 5 of them just got took out.
Yep.
2 of them got took out at whatchamacallit. That's 7. Like, ain't much left of y'all crew. Gray Skull pulls back up on Diamond and Jannar. And if he was pissed before, he's even madder now. Because now he says Tommy got the drop on 5 of his hitters. Again, not understanding that Tommy, he only got part of the story. All he knew is he sent out 5 hitters to take out Tommy, and none of them came back. And so he accuses them of giving Tommy the drop. Mm-hmm. And they was like, Gray Skull tired of Diamond. He tired of Jannar. He just tired of all the excuses and lies right now. He ready to put him down, or whatever the case may be. Jannar go to fast talking again and say, listen, I don't know how Tommy got the drop on 5 of them, but we're going to take care of them. We just signed up with the Marquez cartel. Roberto has said that he's going to take care of Tommy, our little Tommy problem, whatever. We're going to still take care of D-Mac. It's all good. Che got to go just like Lobos, Milan, Jason, Noma, etc. Yeah. But I feel like this time is we're not just got one of them we got to get rid of. We got 2 of them we got to get rid of now. We not only got to get rid of Che, but we got to get rid of Ortega as well. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like y'all wasting time. Y'all could have got that done this week. At least one of them. Got one of them out of the way this week. Ortega.
The whole Chicago and cartel.
Yeah, Ortega should have got taken out just like King Kilo did. As soon as he got out of jail, he should have got taken out. So Gray Skull buck up at Diamond, and Diamond like, listen, little boy, don't come down here trying to big boy me and my shit.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to get this problem taken care of. Be cool. We got this. I'm like, yeah, that's what you think. Big money bags. Vic said he got the private jet on deck.
He got the bag.
He got the Learjet waiting. And him and that stupid ass gal, what's her name? Ray, are at the airport, and they are getting on the plane to go start their future. They toasting a Cristal and everything to freedom. Vic's happy that he's a free, but you can see Vic right here. His expression looks like he don't want to go. What is there here for you to stay? Your whole family has been eradicated.
That part I didn't understand either, because like you have nothing. You're not gonna take over the city of Chicago with nothing. You have nothing. I didn't understand that.
Plot armor.
Yep.
And then the previews for him to even turn around and come back to Chicago is diabolical in itself. Why would you even want to be here? So after Tommy gets out of Little Village, again, no security, not on. Where's your situational awareness at? Your head should be on a swivel right now, like on the lookout, especially after what just happened to you. He and his phone. We got 4 missed calls from D-Mac and text messages saying, Aunt, where are you at? Come home, come home, come home. Obviously, D-Mac was trying to get in touch with him and let him know that Kate was there. And I don't even know who he on the phone with talking to at this point. He get home and Miss Kate's there. And he mad about Kate being there. They were like, dang, bro, you wasn't going to call Kate and let Kate know that her son just got unalive?
Nope.
Damn, it's cold-blooded. Tom, I need you to do a little bit better with Miss Kate. She trying.
She is.
So they start to have a little bit of argument back and forth. We find that Maria had called Kate and let Kate know that what had happened with JP. And Tommy finds out that D-Mac has left the house. And so they go back and forth. And Kate did a good job. Instead of engaging him, she just kind of, just let Tommy, have his way. And she was like, listen, I just want to help. I just want to do something. I feel bad about what has happened. And I just want to be here. And so Tommy tells her that, listen, I tell you what you could do. Go upstairs, find some clothes for JP for the funeral. She offered to go get the casket and make the funeral arrangements, and Tommy informed her that he had already done so. And so Kate scurries on upstairs to go find some things for JP. And Maria and Tommy have a conversation. He was like, listen, I don't want to be bothered with Mom right now. I ain't got time for this. Like, I got too much other stuff going on to be dealing with her and her stuff right now. And Maria assures him that she will take care of Kate. Another nonsensical moment. We get a text message from Diamond to Tommy, says, we need to talk. Okay. And then non-suspicious Tommy writes back and says, sure, at the Riverwalk in 2 hours. And then he sends a message to D-Mac asking him where you at and hi. Post-production, y'all got to get better with these errors. Go ahead.
Pick me.
Go ahead.
All right. Y'all clashed already. It physical, with business and everything. How do we get to the point where we feel comfortable to just send out a text message saying we need to talk?
Yeah.
How does he even get to that point? It wasn't even a phone call. What we should have got was, hey, at least a phone call. Like, listen, we need to have some type of sit down or whatever at this neutral location, whatever. It just was like, we need to talk in 2 hours. Like I said in backstage, it'd be different when Tommy need to talk to Ghost and there's no suspicious activity going on. You don't think nothing of it. It's a conversation between brothers who had a dispute that maybe led to one of them getting situated, possibly. But for this to happen with them two, nah, right? We ain't letting y'all off the hook that easy.
Yeah, we definitely not gonna let you off the hook because we're gonna drag you when we get to that scene. So back at the crib, Maria and Kate are going through some of JP's things, and Kate is reminiscing on she's got to bury another son, and they have a brief conversation about Ghost, and don't know what the purpose of that conversation was for. I'll save that for later on. Don't really understand the point of Kate bringing up whether or not Tommy talks about Ghost. She asked Maria, does Tommy ever talk about Ghost? And she explains to Maria who Ghost was. It was Tommy's friend, Jamie. He was like another son to me. We lost him to the drug gang. No, you didn't lose him to the drug gang. You lost him to his son. And then she says, now I've lost another son to the drug game. Um, and then Maria says, yeah, he talks about him from time to time. And so, and something else she says makes Kate realize that she is pregnant. And then she asks her, she says, are you pregnant? And she was like, yes, I'm pregnant. And Kate's happy about this. And I feel like this is the first time Kate's actually happy about Tommy being with someone, because in previous shows and seasons, Kate has always been written somewhat in an incestuous way towards Tommy. Like, she didn't like the relationship with him and Holly. When she found out Holly was pregnant, she wasn't going for that. When he was messing with Lakeisha, she wasn't going for that. So, and when she was first introduced to Maria, she didn't like the fact of Maria being around. So it seems like she's warmed up to the ideal of Tommy having another woman in his life, and that she's pregnant. And so she embraces Maria and congratulates her on her pregnancy. And they have a moment where that's when they're sitting here talking about, Maria asks her, how did you deal with all this? And like, I'm so sorry for what you're having to go through. And Kate was like, well, most of the time it's been in a bottle or a pile of cocaine that has helped me get through it. But she was like, that's not working anymore. So she's like, you learn to live with it. And I was like, that was putting something in Maria's headspace that, okay, this ain't gonna get no better. Back at Little Village, I know who Tommy was on the phone with when he was coming out. He was calling Shanti to tell Shanti to go ahead and take the money over to Che. So Shanti shows up with the money to give to Che. I felt like Che's reaction to her was not what I expected, but I mean, he did ask who she was, and she was like, I'm Tommy's new business partner. I'm here for the re-up, and I'm also here for Miguel. They have a few words back and forth, and Che, makes a little smart comment about Tommy having a woman do business for him. He was running solo. Now he got a woman in here doing his business. And she was like, woman or man don't make no difference. And that's not really what she said.
Right.
But I'm trying not to get demonetized for the video. And she was like, look, here's the money. It's all here. You can count it if you want to. I'm gonna need you to let Miguel go. And he was like, you know what? I like you and all. And Tommy's lucky to have you and all. You make sure you tell him that. But the next time, you make sure Tommy's with you, or I can't be responsible for what might happen to you or what I might do to you. And Shanti looked at him like, yeah, I want you to try. Like, she didn't seem like she was intimidated. She didn't seem like she was scared. I like her. I like the fact that she keeps her. She reminds me of Rock a lot. She reminds me of Jukebox a lot. She reminds me where she don't sweat under pressure. She might have been scared to death here, but she didn't show it. And she definitely didn't let him see it. So I'm like, okay, Showstopper slid through. She had the money. I was like, it was so many different things going through my mind of how she could have possibly betrayed Tommy. And I was expecting that to happen. But she didn't. So maybe we're wrong about Showstopper, bro.
I'm not wrong about her.
You're not wrong about her?
No, I'm not wrong about her. I think I think the person that Showstopper has always been through power is the person that she is right now. She's just using this as her benefit. She knows that Jannard is back on that stuff, and there's going to be a possibility that Tommy may end up back on top. So she's going to where the money is. She's about her money. She said that several times in this episode. Well, she said it to Tommy, and she said it to I'm about my money. She's loyal to the money.
She is loyal to the money, but she's also starting to see the bigger picture, so to speak, because we know that she's had a goal in mind since the beginning of all of this. Her goal was to take out Diamond, to take out Tommy, so her and Jannard could run CBR, run the streets of Chicago. I think that she is still true to her goal. She's now seeing it even more coming into fruition than she did in the past, because all of the players are eliminating themselves, and she's the last one standing. So I think that she does feel as though she is going to ultimately get what she wants. Come on in, Fresh.
Yes, man.
There he is.
Yo, what's going on, bro?
What's up? What's up? All right, so joining us, DJ Fresh Your Highness in the
Breaking
building.
it down, chopping this up.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and tell us what your thoughts were on the episode. Let's get you caught up.
Wasn't a bad episode. I'll say that much. It wasn't a bad episode. I may give it maybe like a 7. Like a 7 or so.
That's
it wasn't a
good.
bad episode. It's some stuff that we could have saw differently, or they could have wrote it differently, or something like that. And then that whole I don't know where it came from in the streets that's just supposed to be a false finale. Like this clearly was just a regular episode, so I don't know where that came from with the false finale thing.
I got a thought behind that. My thought behind that was that if this was a normal season that was ending and if we were picked up for another season, that this would have been a perfect way to end the season with a cliffhanger. I think we are a little bit underwhelmed with what we expected. We expected a lot more closure. We talked about this earlier on. We expected a lot more closure for storylines, for them to say that we've closed out. Like, to me, we should have defeated CBI in this episode. To me, we should have gotten rid of Ortega and Che in this episode. We should have had those 3 storylines closed out at least. Or we should have, what happened with Singh should have came to an end in this episode. We should have gotten rid of law enforcement. We should have gotten rid of, if CBI was going to be the last thing that was standing, then we should have gotten rid of Ortega, Che, and the law enforcement storylines in this episode right here. It should have closed out all those arcs. And then I would have said, okay, yeah, I could see how this could have been a finale, because we closed out all of the storylines and we only left one of them open. It was the one that we were most engaged with, and that is the war between CBI. All the rest of these storylines we don't care about anymore.
Nope.
Or they could have ended it where, well, we'll get to that. All right, so again, we only have a few sets that we can go back and forth to, so we end up back over at Marshall's place, and I'm thinking to myself, there should be a tail on Marshall. There should be a stakeout at Marshall's place to see if D-Mac is going to show up there. For everyone in Chicago is looking for D-Mac, but yet he's able to walk into Marshall's house unbothered. They have an argument, which I felt like we should have gotten this last week. This should have been, well, I see the reason why. Okay, so D-Mac shows up to Marshall's place and he's pretty much trying to get a location for Jannard. And he's upset with Marshall for siding with CBI and knowing that we've been friends since we were 6 years old. We call each other brothers. We have been family. Like, and you're telling me that you're going to side with the person that just unalived my father, and you still say you my bro, you loyal to me? Make that make sense to me. So I felt D-Mac in that respect. D-Mac's energy towards Marshall is very well placed. Very well placed. I'm gonna let you jump in.
That's for sure. I've been telling people, like, he was unloyal. Like, we saw it. What was it? Wasn't it last week when Marshall said that he wasn't helping, he wasn't joining D-Mac and Tommy, and said now he all about himself or whatever. He was tired of, he wanted to be back in the CBI fold. So yeah, this whole, I don't know why people were so upset about this. Like, it showed his unloyalty. This was the second time he showed how unloyal he was.
Yep.
So
there's nothing to be upset about.
So I didn't blame D-Mac a bit. This is the second time he showed how unloyal was. And then also, you already know the rules of the streets. If you pulling a piece on me, you better go ahead and use it. And the fact that he didn't use it, although granted, you know, you my brother, but like, nah, he already knew that it was a hit out for him. He was supposed to do it. So he was like, you might be giving me a pass now, but I'm not about to let you get a second chance at attempt at taking me out.
I think I understand here what Marshall was trying to do. Marshall was trying to scare D-Mac into leaving town because their whole argument was you need to get out of town. And D-Mac like, I ain't going nowhere. I need you to tell me where Jannard is. And then Marshall proceeds to tell him that, listen, it's a price for your head right now. They already asked me to put you down or whatever the case may be. He could have had the same conversation with D-Mac without upping on him. The fact that he upped on him is that. Yeah, you're right.
That's what took it to another level.
Yeah, by the street code, you put a strap on me. That means
use it.
You've crossed that line.
Yep.
You've crossed a line that I'm not gonna say it's unforgivable, but and then that in this space, he's angry. He's in an emotional state right now. He's looking for the person that put his father down, and you on some other stuff, and you not riding with me. Okay. And so D-Mac was like, shit, well, do it. And he was like, I don't want to do it. And he's like, you scared? And he was like, no, I ain't scared. He's like, you said, you know me since I'm 6, so you know I'm not scared. But he's like, I don't want to unalive you. He's like, you my brother, I love you, but you got to get out of town. And then the dummy turns his back on him. And then D-Mac pulls his strap on him. And then Marshall was just so confident that, oh, you can't do it either. You can't do it either. And you saw the hesitation just for 1 second, and D-Mac puts him down.
I don't know why he ain't think he should know D-Mac is already he's been unhinged. Now he's just
he has been unhinged.
He already been unhinged. Now it's just non-negotiable. You know, it was no negotiating it. You're not giving him the information that he wants, especially he know that you know where he is. Yeah, I didn't see that going no other way.
Yeah, he should have known he wasn't scared himself because this your homeboy. You've been sliding with him, and you see that he don't mind putting that work in.
That's what I'm saying, and he know it. He knows D-Mac the way that the audience know D-Mac. He should know that wasn't going no other way.
Yep, he was a goner the minute he put that weapon down. Yep, out of here.
No, I think it was more so because he felt like this. He felt D-Mac was feeling the same way that he was, like, we brothers. So that's why he was like, you ain't gonna do nothing, and turned his back on him, not expecting him to up the pole on him.
I agree with you on that, C-Fluid. We'll talk about that when we get to the little scene with the little girl.
That is the second time he pulled the strap on.
I was thinking that too. Okay, so Monica says this was the second time Marshall pulled a piece on him. Okay, I thought so too.
Yeah, because remember in season 1 he did that. Remember outside?
Yeah.
Yep.
When it was outside the club or something, wasn't it?
Yep.
Or the bar or whatever. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so yeah. Okay. Bobby is back at the, again, law enforcement headquarters. At this point, I understand that it's tied to the whole Stacey Marks thing, but at this point, the law enforcement storyline could have really ended last week's episode, really. Like, I don't understand why they're dragging this along. I don't understand why they're dragging this along. We all know what Singh's outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
We all know what's going to happen with this. Why are y'all stringing us along? We didn't need this to be resolved in episode 10. This could have been done in 8 or 9. Singh comes in and he's trying to spin the narrative that Stacey Marks was dirty. She was working with Tommy. There is some legs on possibly Tommy being responsible for taking her out. Of course, you know he has to protect his employer's interests, whatever. And Bobby was like, what you doing talking to Vic and you didn't let me get a chance to question him, and now you've released him? And Singh is basically telling them, like, listen, we got to work the case. There's not enough evidence yet to arrest Tommy. There's not enough evidence at the crime scene to tie Tommy to it. So you just got to let us investigate this. I'm not gonna be able to keep a lid on this much longer about Stacey or whatever the case may be. And he leaves. Bobby is frustrated at this point, really, really frustrated at that point. The lady,
Delgado.
you know I love to do that. This lady, unknown lady, Delgado, tells Bobby, like, listen, I'm gonna make this real easy for you. If you go after Tommy, if you interfere with this investigation by messing it up by going after Tommy, I will put the cuffs on you yourself. I need you to go work this angle and eliminate the rest of these suspects. If you want to make yourself useful, go do that. Go check out this Chang fella and find out what's up with him. and she wasn't wrong.
Nope.
Somebody else get this scene right here, because this is what me and Jack been going back and forth about. This does not make any sense. It does not make sense that Tommy and Diamond are able to stand out here and have this conversation. I'm sorry, it's nonsensical.
As far as what? Just in general?
They're at war with each other. Everybody got a hit out on Tommy. Y'all just left. You just literally left Ortega's mansion and asked Ortega to put a hit out on Tommy to eliminate him. And now you're sitting here having a conversation with him about what is the price for peace. You just know that your brother just took out Tommy's brother, and that Tommy is going to be after Jannar. Your own words, like the Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
And this should have happened before all of that. The ability for them to be out here and at war on opposing sides of each other. Everybody in the city is looking for Tommy. Everybody in the city looking for Jannar. It just doesn't make sense that they were able to meet out here and have this pleasant conversation.
I think it should have been a phone conversation.
If it was a phone conversation, I would have received it better.
Yeah, but I think it should have been a phone conversation.
This should have happened last week. This conversation should have happened after the fight. This is what we should have saw after they had the fight. That they were trying to make amends, that Diamond was trying to make amends. It's too late at this point. It is too far gone for you to be out here to try to make amends with Tommy right now after you literally just left him putting a hit out on him. Make sense to me. That's why somebody else got to get the scene.
Let me see if I could. I think what at that point, like, I think for one, I don't think that he wanted to take out Tommy at all. Because remember, Jannar was the one that kept pushing him. And then even after they had that, the whole fight and everything, I think it was still somewhere along the line where Diamond was like, what I'm saying? Like, we could possibly make peace. I think he only threw the Ortega thing up in there was because during that time, like, he kind of had no choice. He had to follow, Jannar, put that battery in his back, put all that stuff in his head. So it was like, he had to put it in, because remember, Ortega's hitter had Jannar by the throat with the knife. So once again, he had to step in somehow, save his brother. So he offered to serve up Tommy to do it that way, but he also knew that Jannar went too far, because he had even said it to him after he had he said, "Oh damn," about the jump scenes. But he said to him later on again in the episode. But when he found out about JP, he kind of knew right then and there, like, Jannar went too far. He already knew that Tommy was going to come out. So at this point, he's just like, yo, it's getting super hot in the city. I got to find a way to try to calm all of this down. Because if you think, now he's thinking with a level head. Every time he wasn't thinking was when he was drinking. So now that he's sober and got that level head, he's able to try to figure out what can I put in place to shut all the heat down, shut the war down, and stop Tommy possibly for trying to take out my brother. I mean, this scene here, like, to me, this scene was too long, but like, that's what I'm getting it from. He was just trying to find a way. That's why he said, how much would it cost for peace? Because he knew
what is the price for peace? Yeah,
Tommy, there was none. Because even Diamond asked him, how did we even get here? And Tommy told him, your brother.
Dexter, what you mean Diamond sober this episode? He hadn't had a drink. Yes, he did. He had one with Madam Wu. Right.
Yeah, like the first 5-10 minutes.
Right.
So I think I think Diamond realized that as well. They're at odds because of Jannar. That's what Tommy said. And he realized, like he said earlier, Tommy's not going to stop. So I think this was just a ploy, or, as Retro say, a plot device to just show that, like, now Diamond is back thinking with a sober mind. And he's more so worried about trying to take care of his brother, because he told their pops before he died he would always take care of his brother.
Dexter, you're where I'm at with that. See, for me, I'm like, okay, that was the whole purpose of the fight, was you found out that Diamond and Jannar were conspiring to take out your nephew. All this dirty work that they don't done, this nasty work that they don't done, to me, there ain't no room for a conversation. There's just no room for us to work together anymore. Like, and Tommy says it in here. He says it that, you know, Diamond asked where did things go wrong, and he was like, Jannard. And Diamond got the nerve to say, Jannard's not responsible for this. Yes, he is.
Yep.
He's 100% responsible for this. Now, granted, Tommy has moved a little sloppy too, but Diamond's moved a little sloppy. If Diamond would have came clean and said, you know what, I set a lot of this in motion when I had put the hit out for D-Mac, but all I was really trying to do was keep the correlation together. Like, he should have prefaced it. He should have explained to Tommy the reason why he felt backed into a corner to say that we needed to get rid of D-Mac. But this level of understanding, it's too late for that at this point. It's too late. It's too much dirt that don't.
But I don't think he was offering it as let us work together. I think he was just trying to say, what can I
But
give?
he said we still can.
Oh, dang. Okay, I missed
He
that.
says it in the scene. He was like, you know, me and you could have been good together. We still can. Basically, all Tommy wanted was for him to give up Jannard, and he would forgive everything else.
Okay, yeah, I missed those words.
This
scene here was not even needed.
There you go. We said that about the Madame Wu scene, and this was another one. We did not need this. I would have rather had D-Mac had this conversation with Tommy than Genesis. He over here at Genesis' house screaming and hollering about what he had to do, how he had to put Marshall down, how Marshall upped his pole on him, and he was left with no choice to do that. He knew that once he pulled his pole, that, you know, that was a point of no return, blah, 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 blah. And he's just rambling, yammering, just going on. Genesis is really trying to make sense of what he's saying. And she's like, please tell me you ain't went and done some gangster shit. He's like, I am a gangster. I'm Tommy's number 2 and all this stuff. He storms out. Unless they're setting this up where something's going to happen to Genesis, or they're setting this up where D-Mac in the end is going to end up going off to school with her. I don't know what they're trying to show us this for.
I think something probably is going to happen to Genesis because
I think so too.
I think that's the only thing they're setting us up for. Something's going to happen to Genesis after. Because of D-Mac.
We don't care if anything happens to her. The character has not been with us long enough for us to be invested in her. Like, if they would have had her and D-Mac hook up a lot sooner, and if it was a situation like how they did with Kanan and Crystal, where Crystal grew on us, if they would have gave us that with Genesis, we would be invested in something bad happening to her. We would feel bad about it. But if something happened to her right now, would we care? We don't care.
I could definitely see this happening.
Alex, tell the truth now. We don't care, do we? We don't care. She can go.
But I could see that too happening, Monica. That she gonna get alive at that funeral.
You think that's where it's gonna happen?
Yeah, because unless I can see it, because we've already seen so many scenes and so many different trailers of Jannard, Big Smurf, and them sitting outside of the church waiting. So unless something's gonna happen where they pull off, that's the only way I can see it happening.
Now, Monica, we did care about Crystal in the end. At first, we didn't care about Crystal. We were rooting for something bad to happen to her. But when she started helping Kanan, especially when we saw that she was trying to help Kanan process what was happening with Rock, we started to care about her. But up until that point, we definitely didn't care about her.
I was about to say, I don't think I ever did.
Side characters are important too, with the $2 super chat, DeMarcus. Yes, side characters are when they're important to moving the story forward. That's why I'm saying I wonder what they were trying. What was the plot armor here? What were they trying? What message were they trying to convey to the audience, other than that D-Mac's presence around this girl is putting her in danger? That's the only thing that I can come up with. He said we mean. They're here at the church. I don't know where they at. They at an undisclosed location. I think they at the church giving out pizza slices and weapons. Here, get your pizza and get your strap. In comes Jannard, all upset when he finds out that Marshall has been put down. And so now he's like, I'm tired of this little dude, D-Mac. I'm finna go take care of this myself. I'm like, you should have done this to begin with. I guess he was banking on the fact that Marshall and D-Mac were close and that Marshall would be able to get the work done. Raheem comes up to him again, trying to be the voice of reason, but we know it's for fictitious purposes now.
Mm-hmm.
And says, "Man, you high as a kite right now."
Mm-hmm.
And Jannar slaps his hand off of his shoulder and tell him, "You don't know what you're talking about. Mind your business and don't touch me no more." He always bucking up at Raheem, which he made Raheem's choice very easy for him to make because he always talking to him crazy. Raheem has genuinely tried to help him with his addiction problems and pointing it out to him. And Jannar's always, sunning him after the fact or whatever the case may be. So he made it real easy for Raheem to make that decision to flip the switch it up on him. He made a mistake, and I think we all know what the mistake was he made. Fresh, you want this because I'm going to drag this.
So I have some questions, but after we get up through the city. So Kate's coming out of your local bodega with some groceries, and as we can see, somebody is watching her come out of the store, which is none other than Jannar. And Jannar rolls up on her, grabs her by the throat, basically kind of chokes her out and all this other stuff. Now I didn't expect Kate to fight back the way that she did, but at least she did put a little fight in it. And
she should have had a knife or something stuck him or something. That would have been more fulfilling. Some mace, something.
And then Jannar pulls out a strap up the pole on Kate, and Kate starts yelling out, "Help, help, help," to then which he realizes, I guess in that moment, he becomes sober and realizes exactly what it is that he's doing and the person that he has up the pole on, and takes off running. Before, because I know you about to dissect it, my only question in this whole scenario is, why in the world, of all the cars, and you're at war, why would you let your mom drive your car?
That's what me and Jack was trying to figure out. Where was Tommy at where he was not without the Mustang? Tommy obviously didn't know that she went out. So me and Jack just chalked it up to maybe he was with Showstopper. We couldn't figure out where Tommy would be at and not be in the car. And why of all cars would you let Kate drive the Mustang around knowing that it's hot? Why are you still driving around in the Mustang? Yeah, that was just, again, plot armor, plot device. We needed this to happen to further put the danger of Tommy's family out there, that Tommy's family is in danger. Why Maria wasn't with her? Why did y'all let Kate go out by herself, knowing that the streets are hot right now and at that time of night to go get groceries? And so yeah, I would have liked to have seen Kate defend herself with some type of weapon, whether it had been a knife or a can of mace or something. But giving her this caring moment where she screams for help, that's nonsensical, because Jannar should have very easily ended her there. And I told y'all in the group chat Thursday night, I told y'all in the group chat, I said I got a bad feeling about Kate. I don't feel Kate's gonna be safe. So she was on my list to be eliminated, and I don't think that it's still safe for her. I just feel like the character has ran its course throughout the Power universe. Unless they plan on using her again in Legacy, I really don't understand what more story we can get out of Kate other than what we've gotten. Like, there's nothing else other than she's going to come in and be just an antagonist for Tommy, an episode or two. That's really the only purpose for the character anymore. I really thought Kate was gone.
I didn't think she was gone. Like, just for this, like, for it to happen this way, because now if this was the finale, see that. But for episode 9, nah, I couldn't see them take it out, because then at that point, now you really, like, now you already know Tommy about to see red like a bull, and he about to try to wipe out every piece of Diamond and them family tree. Anybody who's related to them, he would have been trying to. So, but yeah, I just felt like he just took it as he finally sobered up and realized, like, oh, yo, what am I doing? And like, I'm about to unalive a middle-aged white woman out here in the open where anybody can see. So I think that's how I took it. But I mean, I don't know how they wrote it and why he ran off the way he did. Now, this right here didn't make a bit of sense to me. As soon as she comes back, her 3 words were black, bald head, and he looked high, and immediately he said Jannard.
And also, she didn't tell him the full story either, because remember, Jannard says in the when he was attacking her that he unalived JP. And she even screamed it when she was hollering for help that he unalived my son. He unalived my son. She didn't tell Tommy that part, no. She didn't tell Tommy that part. Yeah, Monica, I agree with that. Now, I just feel like those characters, they ran their course. We've had Kate since OG Power. It's time for her character to transition.
Because Kate's a fan favorite, so
she is a fan favorite. That's what they keep her around for, much like Tasha. Yeah. Yep. I like Miss Kate though, but Tommy needs to do better by his mama though, because she is trying. She's trying to maintain sobriety, and she's trying to be better than what she has in the past. So Tommy's like, you know what? Everybody get your stuff together. We going over to the little village. We're going over to Miguel's place. And Kate, they want to leave. Talking about we're not gonna let these hoodlums run us out of our home. Y'all shouldn't even be there to begin with. This is a crime scene. Y'all just had 3 live bodies there at that house. Why y'all even? I couldn't even stay the night there.
How is it possible?
How is it possible?
Because nobody knew that it was a crime scene. Because remember at the beginning, those other two bodies at the funeral home were King Kilo and JoJo.
Yeah, we know that. But what we're just saying is the fact that 3 dead bodies just left that house and y'all sitting up in there like nothing just happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would want to be there.
But I don't think nobody else knew outside of Tommy and D-Mac what happened in that house.
Oh, maybe so. That's a good point. So
I'm sure it was all cleaned up.
We're gonna get you somewhere safe, Kate, because you ain't safe there at that house. And I'm like, the 2 guards that they had there, man, they would have put them down just like they did the Albanians that was outside the house. Oh, actually, there was 5 bodies because we had the 2 Albanians that was unalive outside too.
Yeah.
And Kate mentions Maria's pregnancy. Tommy turns around to Maria and said, "Pregnant?" And she's like, "Yeah, we talked." All right, so this is what we needed to have happen last week. So Bobby takes Delgado's advice and he goes over to the Tortoise Club and he's sitting at the bar and he's been watching Chan the whole time, and he's getting ready to go because he was like, okay, I ain't seen nothing here other than the guy sitting here, and then in comes Singh. And so as he was getting up, getting ready to leave, he's like, oh shit, I got some action here. Let me go ahead and sit back down. And so he sat back down and he see that Chang gave him an envelope full of money, and Singh puts the money away, and then Bobby starts taking pictures or video of the situation. So we already know what's going to happen. They're going to pack him up next week.
The writing's on the wall.
I don't even think going to pack him up, honestly. I think he about to use that to blackmail him.
Nah, he going to get packed up.
I mean, yeah, he could, but
this is what was the dude from OG Power that was Angela's boss, Mike Sandoval. This is Mike Sandoval 2.0. This is that same storyline, watch and repeat. Singh is going to get arrested next week. They're going to send him to lockup, and he's going to get unalive in jail, just like Mike Sandoval. He's packed up next week.
I mean, the way maybe once they release the pictures or some more clips, because the way that the preview showed, the way that he was going after Singh, it ain't seem like that's what was going to happen, because he said that I want justice for Stacy Mark. So, but I don't know but the way you saying it, yeah, this is kind of like a 2.0 washing and rinse all over again.
I mean, if we had another season to go, I would agree with you. But because we need to close the story out, I mean, that's the only other way that I could, unless they do him like they did old boy in book 2, Jack and Jordan's twin brother. Where he just gets
locked up.
Yeah, Detective Carter, where he just gets locked up and taken away. But I think it'd be more fitting if he gets unalive.
Shoot, it could be where Sang flips it around and gets Ortega and them to unalive Bobby because they're getting too close and try to put it all on Tommy again.
If we had another season, that would make sense.
So I'm trying to remember what.
I think Tommy comes in and tells everyone that Jannard made an attempt on his mom, and they were
That's
trying to find his location. And this is where Showstopper informs them that she has a man inside CBI, and Tommy's like, "Why are you just not telling me that?" And he was like, "Shit, she was like, shit, you told me that I was on a need to know basis, and this is a need to know basis."
Yep.
And so she pretty much lets them know that she got the drop on Jannard. They're trying to come up with a strategy. In comes Hothead D-Mac, which in this case, I understand his situation in this case, because he's consumed by hurt and anger at the same time, and he's just trying to get to Jannard.
He had every right to come in the way.
Yeah, he had every right to come in hot and heavy. And so Miguel tries to tell him like, yo, slow your roll. We got to handle this strategically, or whatever the case may be. And they come up with a off camera, they come up with a plan, but we knew right then and there that they were going to have a plan on how they were going to drop in on Jannard. And then this is where D-Mac tells Tommy as well that he had to put Marshall down because Marshall tried to put a hit out on him. Well, and that they were going to deal with the situation. What were your thoughts about Showstopper's movement here?
To me, it was just more so that she was just trying to show that. I think after she gave that money to Che, it was her just trying to show that, like, yo, she's a boss too. Like, the same way y'all moving, I can also be a boss too. Which is why she made that statement. You know, it was on a need to know basis. I think that was also her backup plan, just in case maybe like Tommy or Miguel tried to, like, you know, cut her out of the deal or something with Che. That was always going to be like her. That was always going to be her backup plan. So that's why she didn't let them know beforehand. Like, yo, I have somebody, an insider in CBI. I mean, it was a good move, but I just think I think now they're just trying to show us literally like how smart that she is.
Yep. How now she is. Yeah,
like how smart Shanti is now that she no longer is around Jannard, and she's pretty much always been this way, but we never got to really see how smart that she really is.
I don't think so.
Nah.
I think at this point she realizes she's kind of in the background of all this. She's waiting for the dust to settle. I agree with what you're saying, Fresh. I think what she is seeing this as an opportunity. If they can eliminate each other, then she's the last man standing. Now, that was ultimately her goal to begin with. That was her ultimate goal anyway, is for them to eliminate each other anyway. It's happening right before her right now. So all she needs to do is push it in her favor just a little bit. So I don't see the reason or the benefit of her betraying Tommy at this point.
Yeah.
She has his trust.
Yeah. I mean, if she remember, she even, I hate to jump scene, she even went to go on the hit. So, like, she didn't have to. She could have stayed back, like how she told them on the last episode last week, like, nah, this y'all war. So she didn't have to go with them to go to the church to hit up the spot. She could have just stayed back at the Insane Princess hideout and kept it just like that.
Yep. We talked about earlier in the episode before you got on about I really love what they've done with her character and Miguel. They took characters that we were not rooting for, characters that we weren't even invested in, and they flipped the narrative with them, and now we're rooting for them.
Sure.
And we're wanting them to make it out. But I don't know. I think she makes it out before Miguel does.
I can see that. I could definitely see that for sure. She'd be the one that takes over the streets of Chicago. I could definitely see that for sure.
Dexter makes a good point. Jannard was holding Shanti back, and he's right, because if Jannard would have executed their plans that they had, remember they had their little side mission that they were working of try to eliminate Diamond and eliminate Tommy. Had Jannard came through with his end of the bargain, they would be in this situation right now where they would be the ones that are on top.
Yeah.
So because Jannard's hesitation in wanting to take out his brother and his hesitation with wanting to eliminate Tommy, put her in a situation where she's just kind of been laying in waiting for it to happen. So it's really Jannard's doing that. She's in the situation right now where she's working with Tommy right now. They finally decide to relocate. So I don't know if it's an abandoned church or a church. They're at a church.
Yeah, they're at a church. I don't know. I think it's abandoned.
Yeah, or maybe a church that's maybe being renovated or something like that. I don't know. This scene right here, I thought that we were going to get closure as well. And we kind of did get closure, but it wasn't the closure that I was looking for. I wanted Diamond to come to the realization that Jannard was the problem, and that when he asked him, they had a conversation about well, first of all, it starts off with Diamond reprimanding Jannard for going after Kate.
Yep.
And he asked him, was he high? And he was like, bro, you got to let me know when you make moves like this so we can, when the dust settles, we can be prepared for the fallout. And so they go back and forth. And Jannard, I thought this is where Jannard was going to come clean, because even he said, bro, Tommy don't really want you. You don't really have to be here. And Diamond lets him know that, no, you're my brother. I'm not going to let nothing happen to you. We saw him tell Tommy that when they had the meet up, I'm not going to let you hurt my brother. He told Ortega that, I'm not going to let you hurt my brother. So we knew that Diamond was fully invested in protecting Jannard. And then they go on to have, when I started seeing this, I for a split second, I still didn't see them taking Diamond out this episode. But for a split second, I'm like, is something ready to happen to Diamond? Is he getting ready to get locked up? Something getting ready to happen to him? I didn't think death. I just thought that, okay, Diamond is trying to rectify all his wrongs. And they have this conversation about Diamond feeling responsible for what has happened to Jannard.
No, that's later on.
Oh, no, this is where they talked about having a snitch.
Yeah, where they talk about having a snitch at CBI.
Yeah, CBI. Yep.
Yeah.
Because he said if Tommy finds us here, because Jannard says that there's some insane princes in the neighborhood, and that if Tommy finds us here, we know that we have a snitch.
Yep. So they kept trying to figure out how he was going to drop on them or whatever.
Get a drop on them. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I guess I was the only one that saw it coming, because from the scene where he talks to Jannard about the whole thing about now you're about to have Tommy coming after you like the Terminator. Then from the scene where he met up with Tommy at the Riverwalk, and then especially like right here, and then that other scene that you're talking about, the way they was trying to humanize him, I said, oh yeah, he gone. Yeah, I said it's a wrap for Diamond. I saw that coming. I didn't think it was going to be at the hands of Tommy, but I saw it coming. I was like, oh, he gone.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be at the hands of D-Mac.
So Tommy gets the message from Shanti that they got eyes on Jay. So I guess she's no longer there at the warehouse, because she could have just came in and told him that. Mm-hmm. But he get a message. And Tommy's like, this is it. They all strap up and head out. Kate comes in, and we saw that infamous scene that we've seen from day one of the trailer, where she tells Tommy to make him suffer. And I'm like, okay, is this gonna be the end? I was like, okay, this is it. This is the end of Jannard. This is it. I was getting happy at this point. I was getting excited. I was like, this is gonna be the end of Jannard.
Now you've been calling this for the longest time. I said, dang, Retro been calling this for quite a while, for some weeks. Yep. About Maria leaving Tommy and that baby. Like, you've been calling that for quite a while.
Now here's the question to ask: is it still going to happen? Just because Kate walked in and prevented it from happening at that moment doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
That's true.
Or does Kate go with her?
Nah, I can't see that. Unless something happened to Tommy, then I can see that. I got the feeling that Kate gonna end up telling Tommy exactly what she was doing. Because remember, she did it before in OG Power.
Tommy herself.
I could kind of see her not telling him though.
Or maybe has she already told Tommy?
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, no, because we wouldn't know till next episode. Because remember, at this point, all of them are gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, so yeah, we wouldn't see it till next. I still have a feeling that it's just gonna be like how OG Power, how she said, how she told Tommy about
Holly.
Yep, about like Holly and this. So I cannot see her not saying like, Tommy, she was about to leave. She's going to leave you. She's probably, and especially now since we have a sober Kate. Remember earlier in the episode, she talking about, it's okay to express your feelings. So she's probably going to tell Tommy like, you probably need to change your ways. X, Y, and Z. I've already lost one son. I don't need to lose another one. Maria's thinking about leaving without you with your baby. So you need to, you know what I'm saying? I can see that happening. Her trying to have a heart-to-heart with him, especially now that she's sober.
I think she realizes after the attack on Kate that she's a liability. And that's the perfect way for her to spin it to Tommy and to even spin it to Kate, because we didn't see her respond to Kate. So obviously in episode 10, we'll see her answer to Kate. But I think that is the most obvious answer, is because of what has happened. She is a threat to Tommy. She is collateral damage. She's in the way. Like, they're going to forever keep coming after her. She's already had an attempt on her. And she feels like by getting out of Dodge, Tommy can now concentrate on dealing with his enemies. But as long as she's around, she's a liability. And Kate is also a liability. We saw that with Jannard. So that makes me wonder, is this a situation where Kate's going to decide to leave with her in order for her not to go by herself, in order for them not to lose on the baby? I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
What is the bigger picture here? Because the thing that you have to come to realize when you're watching these shows, when you watch it the first time, you're watching it for your viewing enjoyment. But us that critique the episodes, we have to kind of put our critics hat on and realize that the writers go against what our expectations are. Yep. So whatever our expectations are, is the opposite of that. So our expectations clearly are, I've been saying it from day one, that Maria is going to run. But how can they add a twist to that? And the twist could be that Kate is going with her again, going back to the usefulness of her character moving forward. Now, there's a possibility that Kate may not go with her, but she's going to create some mess when she goes to tell Tommy about it, if Tommy doesn't know about it already. So there's just so many different angles that you can look at this and wonder and ask yourself, what is Kate going to do next?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
What is Kate going to do with this information?
Or maybe, like you said, since it's our expectations, maybe she will talk to Maria and convince her not to go.
Okay, and that's a possibility.
Yeah, I can see that she possibly will probably have a heart-to-heart with Maria and tell her, like, I know my son isn't perfect and all of this. I know he's in the streets, but if you do this and run away with my son's child, like, that will forever hurt him, that type of stuff. So that possibly can happen as well. I can kind of, matter of fact, I kind of see that more than anything than her telling Tommy or Maria actually running away with the baby.
I don't think Kate gonna tell her, to be honest.
You don't think Kate's gonna tell Tommy?
No, I don't think Kate's gonna tell Tommy.
Okay, why you say that?
I think high Kate would tell her. But I don't think sober Kate will, only because the conversation that they just had, like, prior to, as she held her stomach and she was talking about the baby and everything and the chaos that they're witnessing now. I think Maria is gonna be like, look, it's just too much, and I just want to give this baby a chance. The baby may not even survive. Hell, they might not even survive. And she just want to give the baby a chance. And I think a sober Kate will understand. I don't think the sober Kate and the mother will understand. I don't think a high Kate will understand. So if she stays sober, I think she's just not going to say anything until it's too late. Maybe well after she's gone. That's just my take on it.
Okay, I like that. I like that perspective. But we know there's something here with this. I've been sensing it all along. We know that something's here with this. We know that this could be how they close out the Maria character. The Maria character ends up going away, and we see in a later season of Legacy where Tommy, like I said before, Tommy goes to look for them or goes to reunite with them, and then maybe something happens along the way, or Tommy doesn't get to meet his child until the child's a teenager. So to me, that this is the perfect way to close her character out, is to have her run. If they're not going to unalive her, we know that they're not going to ride off in the sunset together. That is the perfect way to end her character arc for now. If they want to revisit it in later seasons or future stories, they can. But that's the perfect way to just have her run. This is the scene right here, Fresh.
Yep.
Where Diamond acknowledges his wrongdoing. I'm thinking to myself, bro, do you not remember the reason why y'all here?
Yep.
You're not here because you chose Tommy over Jannard. That is not why you're here. And I was like, did they forget that? That's why you could tell that we have different writers writing this episode, because they totally forgot the reason why Tommy ended up working with Diamond was because Jannard was plotting and scheming against him to take over CBI.
Yep.
So Jannard pushed Diamond towards Tommy. Not Diamond got out and said, I don't want to mess with you anymore. Remember when season 1 Diamond got out and he was seeing how wild Jannard and their YNs were and how they were running CBI, and he didn't like it. Him and Tommy clicked because they had that old school street code that they followed.
Yep.
And he saw that Jannard was not following that for CBI, and he had CBI just running rampant out here, and he did not like that. When he tried to exert change, that's when he had resistance from Jannard and his crew. That's the reason why he ended up working with Tommy. But how they wrote this where Diamond was apologizing to Jannard for having him in the life to begin with, that this wasn't supposed to be your life. I kept you in this life to keep you close to me. But in earlier seasons, we learned that Jannard was supposed to go to college on a baseball scholarship. He played sports, that he was not even supposed to be in the streets. But because when Diamond had to go sit down for 15 years, he took over CBI on behalf of Diamond and ran it. And he became lured to the streets. So Diamond was apologizing to him for all of that and apologizing to him for choosing Tommy over him. And he pretty much said, bro, I'm sorry for how I've done. And he was like, if you got anything that you want to get off your chest, I feel like they could have delivered that a little bit different. But the way he delivered that was like, what do you expected him to say? It was like, if you have anything on your chest, just tell me. Just tell me. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. There was another way they could have wrote that to make that come across a little less inconspicuous. And then Jannard's hesitation gave Diamond an answer.
Yep.
He was like,
sure did.
And that's what I was going to say. I think Diamond's reaction to that I think right then he realized what Tommy said was right.
And what Showstopper had said was right. I just hate that he did not get the truth.
Yep.
He had to die thinking, or I guess that was confirmation for him, even though Jannard didn't confirm it, his reaction confirmed it.
Yeah.
Somebody was in the comments talking about how stupid this scene was, and I agree with them. Me and Jack was talking about this too. Now, are these Ortega's men?
There was Paperboy.
Yeah, those were.
Paperboy said this scene was lame.
Yeah, this is stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, these were Ortega folks.
Or they just as bad as the rest of them. Yep. And Buddy was like, "No, I ain't taking no water." Raheem comes in, passes out bottles of water to everyone, and tells them that the AC is out and that it's hot. So maybe this is an abandoned church, or
Could have gave them shots or something.
Yeah.
Gave 'em-
yeah, he could have came in and gave him some tranquilizer shots or something like that.
Yeah, or just had some shots of liquor. You know what you said there. You know what I'm saying?
When I saw him passing the water bottle, I said, "Oh yeah, they finna all be laid out when they to the next scene. They gonna all be." And sure enough, they were. I was talking to one of the cast members that was in this scene right here too. He played one of the background characters, and he was telling me about it. But yes, so the one guy, this little fellow right here, said he ain't want one of the water bottles. He was good. He was like, I don't want it. He probably peep game too, like something suspicious about this. I ain't taking the water from you. I'm good. And so he said, well, come talk to me for a minute. He's like, yo, I used to be just like you, and blah, 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 blah. And he
Yep.
And then he calls Showstopper up and told Showstopper them, go ahead and slide in. And they did. I think it was fentanyl too, that car fentanyl that was in the water bottle. I don't know how they got it in there. Maybe they injected it in there. I don't know. And then here come Tommy and them. They bust in there and they do their thing.
Okay, so I have one question, and maybe someone can tell me. How did they get the guns from the Albanians? Because how did Tommy get that gold Desert Eagle? Because he gave it to the Albanians.
He
only
gave
gave
one.
one. You remember, you only saw one on the table, and he said, "Yo,
It was a twin."
I thought he gave them both. Okay, thank y'all for answering that. I thought he gave them both.
Yep. But in this scene, I thought he had both of them, but it looks like he only had one of the Desert Eagles.
Because I was confused by that. I was trying to figure that out. And I was like, I thought we was going to see a scene where they went back and took them away from the Albanians or something.
And so it's an all-out shootout in the church.
In the church.
And I was like, okay, I thought Raheem was going to get hit. I thought this little fellow right here with the jean thing on ducking, I thought he was going to get taken out. I thought that everybody was going to get taken out, but Jannard and Diamond, they were going to escape out of the back of the church. That's what I thought was going to happen. And they busted shots at each other. And D-Mac coming in here, and I'm like, oh my God. Did his gun jam?
I knew he was going to get touched.
Nah, he ran. I swore he ran out of bullets and was reloading.
Okay. I thought it was gun jam and he was trying to fix the gun. Okay.
Remember, he got an automatic because he was just
came in busting.
Yeah, he just came in there just letting off.
No cover, no nothing.
Yeah. Well, you got Showstopper behind him. She was his cover, I guess.
But I mean, if you look at it, along with Miguel and Tommy didn't have no cover.
Yeah, none of them did.
Yeah, them
Showstopper
three
was
did.
the only one that had cover. Look, she's hiding behind something.
But they end up ducking behind the chairs because Tommy was telling him to get down.
Because he realized that he ain't had no more bullets. When he realized he was trying, that's when he looked over and said, yo, get down. Like, you don't have no more.
There's nothing for you, Raheem. So, Jack, what you predicted kind of came to fruition this episode, but next episode, Raheem is done.
Yeah, he's
done.
Yeah, like
because Jannard looks up and see that he hiding and not shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably thought in that moment what Diamond had said about them having a snitch. Mm-hmm. So he's going to take Raheem out. But to your earlier point, you said that whatever happens to Jannard is going to be because of Raheem. Well, this was a setup for that. It just wasn't successful. And both of them had each other dead to rights. Tommy and
this one he shoots D-Mac.
Oh, this one he shot. I thought he shot D-Mac after Tommy shot Diamond.
Nah,
okay, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
He shoots D-Mac.
Damn, I know that boy gonna get shot.
As soon as I saw that, I said, oh yep, I said Diamond gone. It was the stare down, I said, oh yeah, Diamond gone. Because I knew, I was like, but I didn't expect him. I thought it was gonna go the opposite way. Like, you know how people always jump in front of somebody? So I thought he was gonna jump in front of him like, Tommy, no, and then bow. But I still thought it was gonna be D-Mac that was gonna be the one that ends up shooting back and hitting Diamond. It's versus Tommy.
Jannard's men did have high ground, but I thought they took them out. I thought that's the first when they first came in, they took all the dudes out.
Yeah, they took him out. Yeah, because remember, Tommy turned around and picked them off up at the
Yeah,
roof.
he picked them
Yeah,
off,
up on the high ground. Yeah, picked them off
Mhm.
one by one.
Diamond comes in and he pushes Jannard's weapon down and he took the shots. He kept his word to Tommy and to Jannard. He said, I'm not gonna let you hurt my brother. And he took Jannard's shots for him. I guess that was a symbolic thing to do.
Yeah, I knew the right was on the wall. Remember, I told y'all last week. I said that but I thought maybe it was gonna be Jannard, but I said I didn't see Diamond going back to prison. I said
You
Diamond.
did say that. You've been saying that you didn't think that Diamond was gonna go back to prison, whereas I had already had a mark for him going to jail.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was gonna be unalive, but I thought maybe it would have been by the hands of Jannard since he was back being high now, and Jannard finally ended up taking him out.
But you saw in Tommy's face the anguish.
Yeah, like he ain't really want to do that.
Yeah, he didn't want to take Diamond out.
Yeah,
He hate that Diamond had to end up getting
collateral damage. Yep.
Collateral damage. Yep.
But he couldn't
And of
blame
course,
nobody.
Jannard wiles out and he tries to go and console and see about his brother and whatever, but it's too late. Diamond laying there gurgling and Diamond is gone. Which I feel like if they were going to do that we should have lost Diamond maybe in episode 8. We should have lost him in episode 8 because we should have saw these last 2 episodes of Jannard just wreaking havoc. Because you have to just imagine that after this, CBI is really out of control now.
Mm-hmm.
Jannard is really out of control right now. We'll probably see some of that in episode 10, but I think that it would have been nice to see in this episode right here, episode 9, where Jannard was just completely out of control. Everything he did in this episode would have made sense if Diamond was already gone.
Yeah.
So they really should have had Diamond be unalive in episode 8. And it would have been more impactful. And Diamond is gone. And they don't have to take him far. They can go ahead and have the services and they can go ahead and have the services.
That's a good
Hey, Marco, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
He was protecting both of them from each other.
I never even thought about that.
That's a really good point.
That's a really good point too, Jay the Joe.
Okay, so now it kind of makes sense now, that conversation at Riverwalk, where Diamond realized that he couldn't appeal to Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't protect his brother that way. So all this was in his mind. Probably all this was in his mind, that the only way that I'm going to be able to protect Jannard is to take these bullets for him, because he did protect Tommy by pushing Jannard's gun down, and he took those shots.
I'm also wondering, like, maybe like the way they wrote it, maybe to see from our perspective, is maybe that he thought once he pushed that down and just stood in front of Jannard, like Tommy wouldn't actually shot
or stood down.
Yeah, or might have stood down and might have yelled like Diamond, get out of the way. Because I could kind of see them writing it from that perspective, but it was too late. Them shots was already fired.
Yeah, them shots was already in the air. Yep. And just like that, Diamond is gone. All right, so guys, we do get a break. However, y'all make sure y'all come back on Friday. We will have our interview with Miriam Hyman, aka Stacey Mark. So we will be talking to her about her events on the show. And we will also schedule our follow-up conversation with Miguel. We are very excited about talking to Miguel. That'll probably be the following week. Probably after the finale. We want to talk to Miguel after the finale, so we'll be talking to him so he can probably give us a little bit more insights on what really happened with a lot of the story. All right, so let's we won't get our next episode to January the 16th. So we do get a break. All right, so here I think Jannard is pretty much telling everyone that's left, the remnants of what's left of y'all got to choose. Y'all got to make a choice what side y'all gonna be on.
As well as I think he probably going as somewhat put out. He probably gonna put a hit out on Tommy as well as
D-Mac.
Not D-Mac.
Miguel.
No, not Miguel.
Showstopper.
Nope. Not Showstopper.
Raheem.
Nah,
he gonna put Raheem down himself.
Yeah, I think he'll get
put Raheem down himself. It's 2 to the chest, 1 to the head on Raheem.
I feel like he would put a hit out on him, and he would try to go pull out Tommy himself because Tommy is the one that took out his brother.
I think he does. I think he gonna clean up Raheem. I think he can go at the Showstopper.
Yeah, he gonna clean up Raheem. He gonna go after Showstopper because remember Showstopper was out there busting shots at him too.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if he gonna put a hit out on anyone, it'd be on Showstopper, and he already got one out on Tommy or whatever. But here's the question: do you think Ortega is going to not want to mess with him anymore? I think he's gonna lose all of his support.
Probably.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, and that could be right here what he's saying. You need to make a choice.
I think he's just saying that to the rest of the thugs that are survive, because I think at this point he's announcing to everyone there's a snitch in the group.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is him trying to flush out Raheem. I think he's confronting the organization about there being a snitch that Tom and them got the drop on us because someone gave up our location. Y'all need to make a choice right now who y'all want to be with or whatever. I think, and in this scene right here is probably where he's going to eliminate Raheem.
I could see it, but I can't. No.
Or even after this, Raheem's gonna think that he's in a clear still, and Jannard is gonna put him down.
Yeah. See, this is the thing right here where they wait for them to come outside the church.
Yep. And Smurfing with him too, ain't it?
Yeah, Big Smurf is with him.
Yeah.
But it's kind of making me feel like it's not going to happen.
There's not going to be a shootout.
It's not going to be like they're not going to, like, something's going to come along and it's going to push them away, because only reason I feel like that is because every time we've seen something,
it goes against our expectations.
It goes against our expectations. And later on in the trailer, we see a whole shootout. So that's why I think like they're planning, they were going to have a shootout, like they were going to take them out when they come out to church. But I think something happens where, because I just like it's too obvious for them to show like, oh yeah, you got Jannard and Smurf and all them. They sitting up in the car, wait for them to come out. So immediately to the viewer's mind, oh yeah, that's where they're going to do a drive-by. But I just have that feeling something's going to stop them from being able to do that drive-by or that hit right there outside in front of that church. And we don't get to see it.
I'm wondering if law enforcement is going to be there, and that's what deters them.
I was thinking that. I was thinking like Bobby or somebody was going to be out there, or might end up pulling up, and then that's what make them pull off or whatnot. Because we get a whole shootout in this episode with them in some type of warehouse and stuff. So
I agree with you on that, C Fluid. Diamond has lost. Jannard has lost all of his support with Diamond being gone. Diamond was the voice of reason, and I don't think nobody else is going to want to work with Jannard either.
Yep. Especially they know now that Jannard is back getting high,
and he on that stuff. Yep. I think this is where they have the conversation about her trying to run.
I thought that too.
And I think the decision is made here or whether or not she needs to stay or go. And I think Tommy's going to support her leaving after the funeral. But it may be too late. Maybe too late.
It could be.
So this is Tommy back at Little Village. And they're probably trying to make their last run. They're trying to come up with their plans. No, this is where he says he's going to call in a favor.
Yeah, says call in a favor.
Oh my God!
Of course, everybody and their mama.
Over the writing,
like it's
but to agree that he's calling Tariq. Why?
Like I said, maybe we're going to see that. Maybe we're going to see a backstory as to why. I've been trying to figure that out as to why he would whatchamacallit.
So you don't think I see the insane princesses there? They standing guard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Workers are standing guards.
You got D-Mac, you got Genesis, you got Kate, you got Tommy, you got Maria. Like, I mean, or maybe they do. Maybe like you said, like we said earlier, maybe they do let off some shots, and they end up hitting Genesis. I don't think it's gonna be Kate. I don't think it's gonna be Maria. I feel and the reason why I feel like Genesis is because there is a scene. I mean, I think it's in the season 3 trailer where we see D-Mac in a dress shirt and a tie, and he's holding his machine gun.
Yep.
So I think like after that, I think
that's before the funeral.
Okay, that
because remember he's also got all the pictures of JP and him strewn about of him when he's laying on the floor. It looks like he's laying on the floor and he's having that moment of grief. So that could either be before the funeral or after the aftermath of the funeral. But I'm leaning more towards that it's going to be before the funeral. It's going to be a scene where he's at the house and he's looking at all those pictures that he had in that box of him and JP as he was a kid. And I think his grief is going to come down on him at that point. I think that's when we're going to see D-Mac grieve. I don't know. I mean, Genesis is on the front line. So,
because I can kind of see, if the shots do ring out,
these pallbearers are going to get picked off and she could catch a straight.
And I could see D-Mac immediately jumping on top of Kate.
Yep.
Like, especially since, that's his grandmother. So I could see that while Tommy is pushing Maria, and then you got Cruz back there, him letting off shots. So if a shootout does happen right here, only person I see getting hit is Genesis. It may be Cruz as well.
Cruz, these pallbearers, and Genesis.
And the pastors that's back there.
Man, them pastors gonna be gone. The pastors gonna be step to the left, out of the way. This is where Singh is going to be confronted, possibly arrested. I think Bobby's going to confront him first and get him to confess or get a confession out of him or get him to acknowledge what he saw there at the club. And I think shortly thereafter, Delgado will come in and put cuffs on him. He'll get arrested and taken away, packed up. Why are they still at the basement, first of all? Why is Vic back? Vic, you want to run the streets that bad. You should have been in Ireland right now.
What is Vic doing still here?
Why did you come back?
Well,
so to go with Planet Paperboy and DeMarcus, they're saying in the comments that Vic is going to team up with Jannard to help him eliminate Tommy. I see that, but for him coming back, remember when he was on the plane, it looked like for one, he didn't want to go.
Didn't want to leave.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave.
Two, it's going to have to be some type of logical reasoning for him to come back to team up with Jannard to try to take.
I think it goes back to that conversation they had last week in the penthouse. Remember when we said last week's review that when we first met the two characters, they were kind of a team. Jannard and Vic were working together. Jannard sold Vic that story that if we get rid of Tommy, we can go back to how things were, where we were running with the Yardies. And I think in Vic's mind, he can be Crown Vic.
He gonna have a crown on his head, all right.
He gonna have a crown
because him taking over.
Right. So
be a crown on the t-shirt.
Does Vic get situated?
You know what? I can kind of see him and Shanti being the last two standing.
I can see that too.
While Tommy rides off in the sunset.
Or does he? I still, for some reason, feel like he's gonna go down for Stacey's unaliving.
You know what, Dexter? I thought this too. This could be the possible reason why he comes back to work with Tommy. I mean, to work with Bobby to take out Tommy. because remember in this episode when Bobby said something to Sang, and he was like, well, why did you let him go? He was like, we can always call him back as, you know, a witness to put together. I'm trying to build a case on Tommy so that he goes down, you know, whatever. So I actually thought about that. Like, he could come back to maybe Bobby makes a call, but from this background right here, this obviously looks like the basement of the barbershop. I could be wrong, but that looks like the basement of the barbershop.
I think he's back to run the streets with Jannard like a dummy.
So, but I'm just hoping that they somehow
opportunity when he finds out that Diamond is gone and that they're making this last run to take out Tommy. He sees that as an opportunity for him to be the last one standing. I mean, that's what the show is about, power. Yeah. So he thinks that this is going to be his opportunity or his grab at power, and he's going to end up losing his life behind it or going to jail.
Yes, that is no. I would not give that he's a shooter for one. I will definitely not give him that. He's a plug. I won't say he have a whole bunch of guns or whatever. Like, he's smart when it comes to moving product and being an international plug. But when have we seen Tariq in a full-fledged, like, all-out war? Never.
When he took out Norman and the men at the airport.
That wasn't no war though. That was just him and Brayton just shooting just wild and just happened to hit them. Like, we've never really seen him in a full-fledged like war.
Yeah.
But Brayton had to come in and see about him when they were getting ready to take him out. Brayton had to come and see about
Bray had to come in and save him when Monet and all those spots, like, I mean, not Monet. Yeah. So
hey, what's the name? Is not a soldier. Tariq. Tariq is not a soldier at all.
What's going on with this scene right here? I couldn't make sense of it. And I forgot what happened in the preview with this scene right here.
They really didn't say nothing. They just kind of showed that. So
yeah.
I don't know. I see Miguel's laughing, so I don't know if like they about to get ready. They in all black, so we know they about to get ready to take somebody out. You know what?
Have they taken out Ortega and they're celebrating that they've gotten rid of Ortega, or is this the aftermath of that shootout in the warehouse? What is this?
That could have been. It could be either or.
Or have they taken out Che? Yeah, they in all black, so you know they on a mission.
Yeah.
Cruz is with them, D-Mac is with them. I feel like they done some work. This is the scene right here. Okay, this is the scene right here where Tommy gets pinned down behind this expedition or this explorer.
Mm-hmm.
You got a guy that's coming up on the top. You got another guy that's coming around the corner right here, and another guy that's coming around the corner right here. Tommy feels like he's going to be done. He's going to be done. And you see in this scene right here, they all get picked off. This is either going to be Tariq or he who remained nameless. Because I'll probably get a lot of shots shot at me if I say his name, but that's
Please tell me offline because I want to know what you're talking about now.
You know I'm talking about Ghost.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still going back to everybody ate me up. Everybody ate me up about the IMDb listing, but I'm going to go back to the fact that he was listed in this episode. Everybody say it's a flashback, it's a this, it's a that. But then the very next day, IMDb took it down, but it didn't take the other character down. So I'm like, if it was an error, then how come it was just an error for him and it wasn't an error for the other character?
Mm-hmm.
So, but see, again, going against our expectations are for Tariq to show up, and save the day. What if it's Ghost that shows up and saves the day? This reminds me of that season in Power where Dre called up Ghost and told Ghost that the Asians was getting ready to take Tommy out. Remember when Tommy was outside the church and behind a car, just like this, and Ghost took all of them out, and Tommy never even knew that it was Ghost that took them out, because when he got up, they were all unalive.
Yeah.
But in all reality, this is probably where Tariq and his crew will come in. And
I would like to know who the hell is.
And we're thinking that Tariq is getting ready to come in and do the work, but what they're probably going to show us is Tariq and his soldiers are going to show up.
But who's the soldiers?
I would have known that too.
Unknown characters. Unknown characters.
And Monica, we're not saying that he has not taken people out. We know that. What we're saying is he's never been in a full-fledged war. Like he's never like these type of shootouts that's been going on with Tommy. We've never seen his character.
Tariq is not a soldier. He would put somebody down when he have to, but he's not walking into wars. Soldiers is walking into wars and looking for him. Tariq is not that. Tariq is more
But
of
their
strategical-
point, there was an evolution to Tariq's character at the end of Ghost 2. We seen him level up. Remember, he took over the organization. He kicked Brayden out. He assigned Effie the Ivy Leagues. He assigned Brayden the Fight Clubs. And then he went and met with Noma's brother and became the international plug. So ideally, what we're left to assume is that there has been an evolution of Tariq's character. He's not going to be the same Tariq that we remember him as. He's supposed to come in and be this badass now. I'm assuming that that's what they're going to introduce to this new version of Tariq.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see that. And
I'm
if
gonna have
it
to see it
is,
too. I'm gonna have to see it too, but
I'm gonna be honest, it's not gonna be believable for me.
It's supposed to be a level up. The idea that Tommy has to call Tariq in itself is a level up. We should have just seen some type of communication to them prior to, for him to have called Tariq up and said, Tariq, I hear you doing big things up there in New York. I'm proud of you or whatever. Even if they would have gave us that throughout the season or something to that effect, this would make more sense.
Nah, Two-Bit is gone. Two-Bit ain't even. I doubt we see Two-Bit at any other concert.
Towards Mr. G, right? That Tariq got access to the Africans now. He got access to those
That's what
UK people or wherever Noma's folks was from or whatever.
I think it was Nigerian, weren't they?
Nigerian, yeah, maybe so. That's probably who's going to show up and say today it ain't going to be Tariq. Obviously, it's going to take more than Tariq to pick off all three of these guys at the same time. So I think it's going to be a little crew. Now, however, I see a lot of people say that Kane gonna show up with him. I see a lot of people saying Diana gonna show up with him. They have been doing a lot of press lately. I know. I feel the same way too.
Bro, Diana.
I'm just following the optics. This is not my theory. I'm just.
I know. I just can't believe people said that. Diana, really?
But you have been seeing that they have been doing a lot of stuff lately. IG shorts and lives and reels and stuff like that. They pop back up all of a sudden. Like, why? This is not their show. So why else would they be out here? And you see Tommy is in these scenes with them too. So I'm just wondering if, I hope not. Forget I said it because I don't want to speak it into existence. Tommy gets saved by unknown person in that scene.
He gets saved by unknown person. We'll see. We'll see more because I'm sure it's some type of.
I don't know because we got no exclusive picks last week. Boo, 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 stars. Y'all didn't release that. Y'all had us all hyped up and gassed up, thinking that this episode was gonna be the ish. And y'all gave us nothing.
I'm still sticking to my theory is that when we see Tariq, it's gonna be because think about it like this: when he says the call in a favor, that could be the end after that whole shootout. And he's like, I call in a favor, and then that's where we see him, just like how we saw in book 2. It's gonna be a cut scene during the credits, and we see
maybe
him.
he's calling the favor in for some work. Maybe they take out Ortega, they take out Che, and Shanti's asking, "What are we gonna do for a product now?" And he's like, "I'm gonna call in a favor." Maybe he's calling the favor in for some work.
Okay, now that would be perfect. That right there would actually be perfect. That would make a lot of sense too. That would make a whole lot of sense.
But what is running him out of Chicago? There has got to be a reason why he leaves Chicago.
I think the unaliving of Stacy.
You mean Maria?
Who runs?
I
think the unaliving.
I think Vic gonna
take the fall for that.
I think Vic gonna take the fall for that. All right, $2 from DeMarcus Vaughn. Thank you, sir. Imagine if Tommy sent D-Mac to New York with Kate. That could be possible, but I think D-Mac is going to go away with Genesis if she survives.
Nah, I think D-Mac gonna stay with him and follow him over into Legacy, but I still just don't see them
You
taking
have to ask yourself this question: the last 5 minutes of Force, how does it end? How does the story end for Tommy? Tommy's not going to stay in Chicago and continue to be the kingpin. Is it because Jannard survives?
I think it's because I think he gives it all to Shanti. And
I think he gives it all to Shanti, yes.
Because remember why he ran from New York in the first place. You gotta remember why he left New York in the first place. So I think there's something that comes along. I think it's just gonna be it's just at this point it's gonna be like it's just too much heat now that, especially now that Mariah's with child. Now he's definitely gonna try to be like,
yeah, Jay, we talked about that. We just got finished talking about that. That Tariq got them Africans now, or the Nigerians with him. So he got some extra help. Maria will want to start a new life now that they have a kid coming. That's a good possibility. I still just can't figure out what is the ultimate reason. We knew what the reason was in Power, why Tommy left to go to Chicago, or he was going to California and then changed course to go to Chicago instead because he lost Ghost. What does Tommy lose? What makes Tommy come up to this decision that it's time for him to leave Chicago? What is the reason?
I'm sure we're gonna see it somehow. We just don't. Like I said, I'm just taking this more so just because with Maria being pregnant, and then the unalive and Stacey Marks, he's like, yo, it's hot. I gotta get out of the city, and this is what's gonna happen. No, Planet Paperboy, because we already know he's pretty much like subliminally said that he's gonna be in Legacy. I know a lot of people
before it was time for him to announce that he would be surviving, but yeah.
I mean, he pretty much said, like, because if you go back and watch the Breakfast Club interview, and they even talk about will his character finally get unalived, what will be the ending story. That interview right there kind of says that he's not going to be unalived in episode.
He's not dying in this series.
Yeah, he's not dying in this series.
All right, well, I guess we will see you guys on the 9th for our interview with Stacey Marks, Miriam Hyman, and then, of course, we will be back on the 16th to say goodbye to Forrest. This has really been a good season. They really stepped up the writing. Like I said, it started out a little rough for me. It was still good. It was good, better than previous seasons, but it was like, okay, some of these stories, they drug a little too long for me. Like by episode 5, we should have had a lot of closure to a lot of things that they drug along. Like this whole thing with Claudia. Why did y'all bring her back? Y'all could have got rid of her. We didn't need to spend.
We didn't need her back.
Episodes of Tommy chasing Claudia. I'm going to get you for unaliving Ileana. Like we didn't need that. We spent way too much time with that. We spent way too much time with Elise. Like we spent too much time with those stories. And now we're here on the tail end of it, and the stories that we really wanted to spend time with, they're being rushed along. So, but overall, really good episode, and I'm really excited to see how it ends. I really am I'm still worried about Kate. I'm still worried about Maria, and I'm worried about Genesis. That's what I'm worried about.
I ain't worried about Genesis.
I'm worried.
I ain't worried about Genesis.
Bruh. There is no way. Tommy has unalived people left and right. Tommy has done too much dirt. He stepped on too many toes. There is no way that he is going to walk away with a happy ending. This is not going to happen. He's going to have a loss.
He did. His brother JP, he already had a loss.
That's not enough. It didn't shut down his organization. Oh, we didn't talk about Miguel. What do we think Miguel's fate is? I think Miguel's going to end up catching a hot one.
Yeah, I think he'll catch one too.
I think Miguel going to catch a hot one.
Or
he's going to jump and he's going to do a diamond.
And that could be the reason why Tommy had to leave Chicago.
I hope he don't jump into a diamond.
I think he's going to jump into a diamond to save Maria.
Oh, down that I can see.
Oh, to save Maria, I can see that.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about to say Tommy.
No, I think he's gonna save Maria.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think something gonna happen to him. Either that's what happens to him, or something gonna happen to him trying to take out Ortega or Che.
Now that I can see.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. C Fluid. We talked about that because we expected her to pop up in.
Yeah, because she was in. Yeah, because I remember they had even had a little biography for her in book 2, and she never
she's at
showed
the
up.
right age now for it's time for her to reappear. Now she would be 21 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, she would be a little bit younger than Tariq. So whatever age Tariq is, she will be a few years under Tariq. So she should be 21 by our standards. So it would be nice to see her happen. But we got to figure out how we're going to get rid of Miguel. We got to figure out what happens with Showstopper. I think Showstopper is, if anyone's the last person standing, it will be Shanti Showstopper. I'm sorry, Jack. No, that's not what you want to hear. But I think she is, if Jannar doesn't take her out, she will be the last woman standing. You know, power loves to make the women come out on top. They did it with Tasha. They did it with whatchamacallit. They love to have the women be the ones to end up winning in the end.
I don't dislike. Yeah, I do dislike Showstopper. Never mind.
I think that if she would have stayed on the course with Jannar, then she would have been an expendable character. Now I actually like the idea of how she's came through. I like the idea of Tommy handing everything over to her and saying, run Chicago.
I think she's still a snake.
I don't even know if we see Madame Wu anymore.
Nope.
That's why it was useless to bring her character up in this
don't
episode.
need to.
Like, there's no purpose for Madame Wu to be shown anymore. Unless she's cutting ties off with Jannar, and that's the only thing we see. Is her telling Jannar that now that Diamond's gone, I don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can see myself.
Or does Jannar do some messy ass shit and go over there and tell Madame Wu that was D-Mac that robbed her at that casino game, and those are Madame Wu's people that are shooting at them at the warehouse?
Nah, that to me, I mean, he could, but to me, like that would make it's too late. Like that should have been something that should have been done. What after they messed?
I agree. It is too late because Marshall's now unalive too. So
Yeah,
it makes sense for that to come out and then been after D-Mac and Marshall. That would make more sense. I agree. Then we don't need to see her no more. Okay, what about Ortega?
unalive.
And Che, unalive.
They both gone. They both gone.
Yeah, because now that you say what you said, that theory about that now both of them are gone and Shanti needs a plug, then
That would be the perfect reason to call Tariq.
or also could be that Miguel does stay alive, and now since both of them are gone, Shanti and Che now need a plug, and then that's when he says, "Y'all calling a favor," and now Tariq becomes the plug. But see, I don't know, because then that you got to remember in the Tariq scene, he says, "You know, we want all the smoke." So,
But if you go back and watch that episode, I went to go look for that episode, and it was the very last episode of Ghost. They've cut that scene out. It's not there anymore. So I wonder why. No, they don't never stick to continuity anyway. So just because he said that in that scene doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. I feel like, why did they delete that scene? Like, what is it that they're trying to hide in that scene? I know you're going to go look for it after we get off of this, but I'm telling you, the scene's gone. But it's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how, I guess, all the hype that has been around this show for this season, it's all been about for Tariq showing up. And I feel like all we're going to get is 10 minutes of Tariq. I don't feel like he's going to be in the entire episode.
I would agree.
And all he's going to do is come in and facilitate a need, and that's that, and he's going to leave. Or Tommy ends up leaving with him. See, I go back to the ending. I guess that's for me. how do you wrap this story up? If you were in the writer's room, how would you wrap this story up? How would you package this up? Who would ride off into the sunset? Y'all keep wanting to give Tommy a happy ending, and that him, Maria, Kate, D-Mac, all of them are going to survive, and they're going to all run back off to New York and live a happy life. That seems too easy to do.
I still don't think they're going back to New York, though.
Yeah, I don't want them to go back to New York either. I feel like if you take us back to New York, all you're doing is giving us book 2 back again with Tommy there.
Mm-hmm. Plus, he can't go back to book. I don't think it'll be in New York anyway, because he can't go back to New York because he still wanted there. He still wanted, although they think that he's gone. He's still wanted, so that's why I don't think that he's going back to New York.
Maybe we get some pictures. I don't think we'll get episode 10 pictures this week. I don't think they'll drop them that early.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll get them the week of.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Wednesday. I don't know. Stars acting funny this season. I don't know why they've been acting so funny with these pictures. Because they ain't really been telling much. So I don't know why they've been acting so funny with them. But we'll see what they drop. All right, fellas. Y'all got anything else before we wrap up?
Nope. Just waiting to see how this series finale is going to be.
I got nothing. I'm just interested to see what the series finale is going to be. Hopefully, we don't get no.
Cliffhanger.
Sit back and wait. Yeah, well, I'm quite sure we'll get a cliffhanger, man. But I hope we get some closure, and we don't get nothing very Soprano-ish, if you know what I mean. If you've ever seen this season and then the series in the Sopranos, we don't get no Soprano-ish type stuff.
I don't know if we get a lot of closure. I mean, it's just so much stuff that's open-ended still. I just don't know if we're going to get full closure on all the storylines.
I mean, it's possible if they rush it, but you'll know if they rush this episode. So,
and if they gave us an hour and a half, I feel like they would have enough time. Even if it was an hour and 25 minutes, if they gave us a longer episode, they would probably have the opportunity to close out a lot of stories. All right, guys. Well, we will see you all next week. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow. And we appreciate you guys. Y'all check out our social medias for other updates, because we got some other projects that we are working on. And we will be back to close out our Book 4 Force. See you guys in the next video.
y'all.